Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures back in negative territory once again this morning after President-elect Joe Biden revealed his $1.9 trillion stimulus plan. After market last night, the outline highlighting his American Rescue Plan is what he's calling it, included federal unemployment payments going up to $400 per week and extending them through to September. There was also direct payments to many Americans topping out at $1,400. That's down from the $2,000 that was rejected at the end of last year, and extending the federal moratoriums on evictions and foreclosures as well, also through to September. Markets coming off pretty muted showing on Thursday. We did have all three U.S. indexes in negative territory, erasing early slight gains. Individually this morning, all about the banks. We had JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup all out with better than expected for the most part. Earnings this morning, we'll talk about those three coming up. Big tech names were weak on the session yesterday. The NASDAQ among the leaders to the downside. We had Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Twitter among the leaders to the downside yesterday. Twitter off 15% already year to date. The IPO market continues very, very strong. We had WOOF, W-O-O-F, Petco yesterday, and also that Posh stock we'll talk about. It's Friday, January 15th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at Asian markets from the overnight session. You can see pretty red coming from Korea, Nifty, and India as well in negative territory. Japan, Australia, just the two Chinese markets ending in positive territory. We'll go over to Europe next and see how things are shaping up. More red numbers here. France leading the way to the downside. Turkey as well, 1.2%. For Turkey in negative territory. Let's shift over one more time. Have a look at North American futures here. The Dow and S&P both red. NASDAQ trying to get back into positive territory as we speak here. TSX futures here in Toronto a little bit negative as well. Look at Brazil down a full percent. Bitcoin off 3.25% this morning. We have crude oil down 1% and gold basically flat. To start things off on a Friday. Good morning, guys. It is Friday. We're heading into a long weekend. Worth a note, no show Monday. We'll be back Tuesday for next week. So lots of things to talk about this morning. We have a number of little names moving. Wanted to mention XOM right off the bat here. There was a SEC probe just announced into XOM, down about 2.5% to start.
Yeah, XOM just hit. I just want to show the imbalance locator here. I mean, I was looking. I was looking at this all. Hey, good morning, by the way, everybody, and welcome to an exciting Friday. And then Valeria just found out, I think, that there's no show on Monday. So congratulations, Valeria. You have a day off. So XOM there, 520,000 shares to sell, showed up out of nowhere. Some whistleblower complaint. Like, I don't know. That's all the news that I have there, Brendan. Maybe if there's some specifics. But a drop down from $51. We've been cruising on XOM. Like, I don't know what this complaint is, but down 2.54%, not that much. We'll check back on oil, see what the price of oil is doing. Brendan was just reviewing some of those markets, and you have it on the bottom of our screen as well. I don't know. We'll see what this complaint is, but it's just interesting because it spiked a little bit of volume, not a lot, but XOM to the downside. And, we'll be looking at that. It's been a nice run from 42 to 50. And it's funny because Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, coming through today, and the last time he was here, he was talking about some value to be unlocked on some of these oil companies, and XOM has had a nice move back up. So it's going to be a fun day. We're excited here, Neil, and both of our teams. What day is the Bills game? Because the Packers kick it off tomorrow early, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, the Bills have the evening game, so that should be.
Oh, that's gonna be a good Saturday.
It should be a fun day. I think. Well, I feel pretty confident about both our clubs here, so I think we're gonna look pretty good. You know what though? It should be a close. I feel like it might be a closer game, Packers and the Rams. To be perfectly honest with you there, and we'll see how that all plays out. Looking forward to this weekend. But hey, we got an exciting day of trade to come. Of course, we talked about the IPOs. Brendan mentioned those off the bat. Petco. I almost said woof, but whatever. Petco was certainly an interesting one. It's going to be in play again today. It's actually flat but that sort of doesn't do justice to the pre-market action. It's been up or down $1, holding around 29 to 30. So we'll go over how it was trading off of the open. Trades that looked fantastic after 5 minutes didn't look as spectacular when you looked at the run that it made. Eventually 10% to the upside, and of course that was after already being priced higher. And then there was also Posh, which was a little bit of a surprise as well, how strongly that held up, although that's coming back a little bit here. So much to talk about. Multiple guests today. We have an interview at the end of the show today, which should be another fun one. So Brennan, let's kick this one off right. We even have Mark coming through, and I think a lot to discuss with him as well.
Yeah, the parent company back with us. We talked to them last Friday, guys. If you were joining us, if you missed it, stick around about 11:15. The parent company, Jay-Z, involved in the parent company, so that's coming up at 11:15. They're listing starting today on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brendan, and hey guys, happy Friday, everyone. It's going to be an exciting day, so please stay tuned, hit thumbs up, and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, I'll show you this headline right off the bat here when it comes to ExxonMobil. It's the Wall Street Journal reporting, guys. This is, whistleblower probe, or SEC probe because of a whistleblower. This has to do with their Permian Basin asset valuation. So the Wall Street Journal reporting that this morning. So we'll keep an eye on ExxonMobil, XOM, down right now, but it's actually trying to get back to the upside a little bit here. We had that other IPO yesterday, Posh, also moving again this morning in the pre-market, as are cannabis stocks moving again in the pre-market. We had Afria out earlier in the week, guys. These are all on the list, but worth a mention here. I mean, I was just having a look at Afria 15%, Tilray 15%, Hexo even 9% this morning for these.
The party continues.
Yeah, we'll hit the Afro. Oh, there it is.
There.
Batman. Yeah, I was going to see which one was going to show up there. But it's off to the races. Afria turned profitable yesterday, right? So on that report there, they were expecting a negative quarter, and I think it was $2-something million profit, which is small considering what the market caps of some of these used to be. But Afria, again, they did get a bump initially about a week and a half ago, or maybe it was I guess it was around here on the Tilray news, and they're going to be merging with Tilray and just taking over symbol TLRY. So look at this, just getting accelerated. We did put some buys down here on Afria down when it was election time. But I looking at Tilray today, I wrote down on our list here, and I have it sort of marked off. Tilray, oh no, it wasn't Tilray 20, it was Tilray $22 here. I have Tilray $20, but that's broke already, so we don't have to worry about that. I guess it was Tilray 22. We're up to $22 there, so we're gonna wait to see what that does up at 22. We've already broke through 20. This is the daily range. I mean, it's off, it's gone. You can see Tilray back here. These are some of those levels. I think this is probably why we marked down $20. Slow down, Tilray. See, this is what I mean. We were huge before. Oh, great. Now I got to zoom in just a little bit more. This was that $20 level right here. I think that's what I was trying to look at, was this little spot where we stopped a couple times. It was a nice little jumping spot on the way down. So we breached that 20, fell all the way back down, tried to get back up to it before falling down to $2 back in March, and then today you're at 22. So this high, 21.09, Brendan and Neil, and then this is up here, 2022. What is this very high wick there, 22.90? So I think it's just a breakout spot here for Tilray, obviously, but up 16% plus like 20-something% yesterday. And then if you just go back down to January 12th, which if I look at the watch today, it's the 15th. This was a $13 stock a matter of 3 days ago. So you're about doubled in a couple days. Maybe profit taking time, but hey, don't stand in front of a train, right, Neil?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I kid. I had honestly, this is the second stock where I've had to delete a number that I wrote down was Tilray. The first one was GameStop because it started to make some moves in the pre-market as well. I talked a little bit about Poshmark here. Well, we just mentioned, of course, that the IPO happened. So if you're not familiar with them, selling used stuff online, it was a $42 issue, and we opened up north of, I think it was like $97, somewhere around that range. It broke through 100, topped at 105, and then the selling actually started to come in. This is a little bit different from what we saw when it came to the Petco, which actually held the open price rather nicely. This made a hard bottom at like 90.91, and then there was some consolidation right around, sort of the bottom at that open around 96, and then that ended up being the afternoon, I guess, support. If you fast forward to the pre-market today, it's already testing down around that afternoon support. Personally, I don't get this one being over or even near $100 that soon. I think similar to Dash, it is a good chance that this one tests that low, and then maybe in the coming days and weeks makes a bit of a bottom that's worthwhile. But I would see what happens at that 95 half on Poshmark, and then of course that 91. Either one of those level breaks could be interesting for short positions. I'd also have a look at that 100 if it retests it.
All right, guys, Mark Roberts joining us, as always, on a Friday, heading into a long weekend. We'll get his perspective on what we should expect heading into a Friday, again, a long weekend. So maybe a little bit lower volume to be expected today. But Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, with us, as always. Mark, we got the announcement from President-elect Biden aftermarket yesterday. I mean, kind of expecting a positive reaction to that, but we come in this morning, things are down right across the board, it seems. We had the earnings from the banks. Wells Fargo down, JP Morgan obviously to the upside. But overall, general thoughts here with the news aftermarket yesterday. Were you expecting this kind of reaction?
I was, for the simple reason that there is a very slim majority in both the Congress and the Senate. He's going to have to really juggle quite a few balls to be able to get his initiatives through quickly. So I'm looking at this taking a number of months, not weeks, to be done. I think there'll be a lot of jawboning. I don't think it's going to be the package that we've seen so far. And he also has the impeachment and getting his nominations through the Senate. So something has to give.
And it might take some time for something to even come of that. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's get into some of these banks this morning. JP Morgan, I mentioned, was strong, no longer. Back to the downside here. What are your thoughts on JP Morgan first, and then these earnings overall?
So I tend to prefer a Citibank for the simple reason that they have a Mexican presence. I think most of these banks are going to come in within expectation. There may be some tax issues. There may be some money that's put aside for legal issues. But as long as they can be buying back stock, the dips look good. So I'd be a buyer, but I prefer Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs.
Morgan Stanley, still to come as far as the earnings are concerned. Are we expecting positivity right across the board here, or is this just more profit taking in your opinion?
I think it's more profit taking.
Yeah, let's get over to the cannabis stocks. We saw moves, as we were talking about when we came on, to the upside again this morning. Aphria leading the way, leading the way earlier in the week with earnings, more from the group to come. What are your thoughts on the group overall?
Well, it helped that Cantor came out with a upgrade of price targets, so that's the first positive point. Tilray, if I'm looking at the chart, this 21.2 area is pretty critical. There's some clusters of selling in that space, but if it can get through there, it's got 25.27 written all over it.
Mark, we saw a little bit of weakness return to some of the big name tech stocks yesterday, leading the NASDAQ to the downside. Is there a time or a place or a level you're looking at where we can start to kind of look to get back into these and look more positively on them?
The answer is yes, but I don't know when.
Right.
I had sell alerts 3-4 days ago. Facebook around the 269, 270 area was a trigger for me. I started to watch the rest of them. Most of them looked like they were topping. Most of them looked like they just had a lack of buyers. Not that there wasn't real interest, but just a lack of buyers. So they're coming down, and Facebook passed its 200-day yesterday.
Yeah, continued rotation into other areas of the market, and interest even rotating into other areas of the market. Great stuff, Mark. We'll bring in the guys here and talk about some more opportunities possibly for today.
Good to see you there, Mark. As always, right off the bat here, I just want to let you know we have a couple of members here, Yuri and I want to get the name right, Eunice, I do believe. They literally sent in super chats saying we love the stock father. So
It was Manny D. Manny
Manny
D.
D. So thank you very much to everyone that sends those in. We have a lot of fun, and there's probably a lot to talk about here, Mark. But you mentioned Morgan Stanley. Now, a theme, if you like JP, or maybe if you for whatever reason like Wells Fargo, I guess today, and you're thinking about buying dips in some of the banks, and that was a plan going in. People take some profits, and you're looking for a place to pick it up. When it comes to Morgan here, I guess you have to wait. You can't really participate. If there's a pullback in the entire space, and you actually are able to pick up something like a Morgan Stanley, maybe breaking out of this top consolidation, and we actually get down to like that 74. And if you like that, is this a case of no, just wait until Wednesday when the earnings come out, and if they get a dip the same way it's happening today, you might get an even better price than that? Would that be your line of reasoning for some of the banks that haven't reported yet?
The answer is yes, but this is an unusual time. You have a sitting president ready to leave, a incoming president with a massive agenda. I think what's happening, earnings are going to be critical going into this quarter. There's been talk they're going to be down about 9%. I would say that if they're within that range of what the expectation is, these stocks are certainly names that should be in the portfolio going forward. Whether you buy it at 73, 74, or 70, it's not going to matter because the trend is higher.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's sort of what most people are going to be looking for. I do want to talk about another name that you brought up, and has been on a bit of a rise here, and 3D. It's like pulling back a little bit, but I mean, that sort of doesn't do justice to the story of the last few sessions. Another possible catalyst here for 3D, in addition to just the fact you had that high short interest, I think that you were mentioning before, and the breakout of this move, possibly in the ARK ETF that was announced. So definitely one. I mean, we rambled off several names that would have possible participation, just looking at what was in UFO already, and then some other names that have been speculated about. But 3D was a miss. I didn't catch that this was going to be one of those names. So what are your thoughts on that now today after a second catalyst?
You're in a range. I tend not to buy things unless it's a real clear breakout on good volume. But otherwise, if your range is 23.32, just don't buy it near the top and don't buy it in the middle. Try to wait for it to have that exhaustive slippage and buy some position. But I like to try to give myself as much cushion as possible. With that being said, I never got into Airbnb because I kept bidding on the bid side and not trying to pull some in a bit aggressively. So it can work against you.
Yeah, that's passively bidding and wanting to have the best possible entry price and being too conservative is something I definitely understand. Candidly speaking here, I was looking at for a day trade at least on 3D, just looking at some possible rollover today. I mean, anytime I get the move like you saw yesterday, dip and follow up, breaks the top, and then you get a bit of a gap down. So I mean, there's definitely going to be some upside levels to work off of. I like it for that little day trade pull back in, but I love your thoughts of caution. I know a lot of people asked specifically about 3D if we would talk about this one today. So as always, I got to give you a big thank you on that note. The last thing I wanted to bring up here was going to be Lemonade. Obviously, there's been a lot of IPOs that have gone absolutely nuts. That have had fantastic runs. Not all of them have been the subject of short seller reports. Citron, of course, coming out as well. So I more just want your general thought on these, the first or second day after these reports come out, because often you'll see a pattern like this where the stock has already made a big move up and is already leveling off and had turned around before this had happened. I mean, on the show, I was saying, I love this stock. I thought this stock was overbought a few days ago, and then Citron comes out after it's already come off 15%.
Yeah, so I look for the clusters, and those clusters were evident around that 186 area. Then that next cluster was somewhere around 177. So when we broke low and yesterday tried to get back into that 175 area and volume came in, it was a short or a sell. And now you're under pressure again. So my guess is you're going to have trouble getting through 163 and 170 going forward. And again, look at your 3-day, look at your intraday. Those are the tests as far as volume that you'll see, and also whether or not there's moving average resistance, if you will, or cluster resistance. And I tend to write those down so I don't forget.
Yeah, that's we're all about the notes here. Sean's got the sticky pad. I try to use an iPad as well, so we have it written down. You always want to make sure you have an understanding of levels that are interesting to you. As always, before I get you out of here and back to Brendan, Mark, we already mentioned it is it's a holiday on Monday, so we will not be seeing you unfortunately on Monday. So I guess we won't see you till Wednesday. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Thank you for allowing me to pepper you with like multiple stocks here and questions as always.
Pleasure. Have a good holiday.
All right, take care. I'll throw you back to Brendan.
Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies. A pleasure as always, sir. Have a wonderful long weekend and best of luck today.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right, guys, let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market this morning. We'll get into the banks. Really, we have to come up with a plan here. JP Morgan selling off pretty heavily at the moment. If you haven't done so already, take out the watch list. We send it out every single morning to your inbox, absolutely free to you. JP Morgan with decent earnings here, guys. Net income, $12.1 billion, $3.79 per share, all above expectations. Expectations were in the $2.62 per share, so that number was a little bit off. But $8.5 billion, though, easily topping what was expected for JPM.
Yeah. The one thing to add is that I think it was like a $2.9 billion reserve release, which obviously it's a bit of a positive sign, certainly, that they were able to release those funds for possible delinquencies. But that would adjust the EPS to like a 307, which is still a beat. It's just not quite as, when you see how big a beat it is, or some people calling it that, it's actually a little bit smaller of a beat. It's still a good number altogether. As Mark already said here, buying the dip could be a patience game. It would seem to me, and just going by his whole cluster theory, there's room for a pullback here. I was looking at it might be more difficult than Morgan Stanley, which is like clustered at the top, and JP Morgan's had a bit of a range, and you can more aggressively buy some of these dips. But of course, this chart is scaling. There you go. But the one level I was looking at, or at least it's going to look very messy here, is this sort of 138. Might be good for a bit of a day trade. If you just go back in a couple of sessions ago, this bottom, we did have some support when the report came out this morning, and then we're right back at that 138 price. So that could be an area to maybe take some scalp trades, whether it's going to be like a breakdown short if we bounce higher in the morning and then come right back through at the open, or you could maybe find that bit of a base for a little quick scalp long. But I don't love these levels until all the banks come out. I'm probably looking at Morgan Stanley next week for like, oh, this is when we're actually going to dip in. This is where you would be buying the stock altogether. Usually you're probably owning the bank space when you were talking about the previous catalyst, which of course was the stress test and some of the rotation that went on. So those things were last year. I just feel like patience is a virtue here on JPM and some of the other banks, at least for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't have much patience with this. I sold some, and I talked about this yesterday on the show, the day before that, that we were going to take some off here at 140, and we did. So we sold some. We took some off the table here on JP Morgan, and now today, look, I think patience is a game with every bank all the time. I mean, these aren't supposed to be high flyers. I talked yesterday that we're long here below $100. When we had this 40% move in about 2 months on a bank, that just seems that it's way too overdone here. So I already wrote down, I wrote down 130, like this is earlier when the stock was at 140 or so this morning. We already wrote down JP Morgan 138. It's gone through there. I think it just tests lower. No real areas now. I thought 138 was going to be pretty key because we did have some tops there back in January 7th or 8th. I wouldn't sell JP Morgan. Like if you didn't get any sold through 140, 142, I think you could take some off here on the open, but don't be surprised if it does wind up making its way back up. Like this is a big drop. This is what I was talking about. I made the notes back here, 8 o'clock, that we were going to see 138. I mean, I didn't think we'd see it this fast. There's the bottom, 138 yesterday. So that's a big drop down. The numbers don't look too bad. But again, when you have that kind of a run up, I just for all of you traders out there, if you're holding a stock into earnings and it's already run 40% in a couple months, it's almost priced to perfection. And with a bank, there's not so much surprises they could have, right? We will wait on, I think Mark was right there, Brendan, when he was talking about Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. I've always talked about them being stronger as far as the trading side of things. So they could surprise on the trading revenue. JP Morgan doesn't really have, I mean, they have a great trading wing, but they're not going to surprise there. So JP Morgan today, disappointing because it wasn't a blowout, but it's a hold steady type of thing. You're only down 2.5%. We've seen this thing move monstrous, so just calm down if you're long. But I don't blame anybody for taking some off the table.
Yeah, definitely a nice look on the daily chart for Morgan Stanley as well going into that report. Let's have a look, guys, at upgrades and downgrades for today. A couple of interesting ones on here. Intel down today, but another upgrade. We talked about the news earlier in the week for Intel. Spotify's on here. Ralph Lauren to the upside. There's that 3D already 9.5%. Spotify as well getting a Citigroup downgrade today, saying that the investment they made at the end of 2019 into podcasts really not paying off for them yet. So Spotify, yeah, almost 4%, guys.
Well, I mean, Spotify was going nuts the last couple of days there. They had, what was it? There was some sort of a podcast they just got, and it ripped it to all-time highs. Right here, it was this day up to 370. They signed somebody, and that's when I was telling you that story about how back at $100 when I was telling Greg that I thought this could have been the Netflix of streaming music, and then they started signing people left, right, and center. Beyonce, they had Michelle Obama over there. I think the big get, obviously, was the Joe Rogan Experience came over. I think that was right around here, 180, 190, or it might have even been down here, 150 or so, when Joe Rogan came in. They just started getting more and more content, right? And so then this big spike up to 370 was on what I can't remember who it was, Neil, maybe you remember, but 372. I'm sure you've probably Googled it by now. So 371, 372 to the high side there. They just signed somebody else, and then you do have what Mark was talking about, some cluster action, 345, 350. Normally, once you break that, you start heading downside. So you still have the 50 period coming into question. I'm still a holder of Spotify. I have been selling it. I hadn't sold anything up this high, so I'm going to wait for a 310 to break. But right now, only 15,000 shares. So I don't see this as much of a story, but we're down 3.6%. So let's wait to see where this does go. I don't know if it was. Someone just said Kim Kardashian. I don't think it was.
That's a while back.
That was a while back, the Kardashians. But I'll find out.
Yeah, just quickly here. I am in a position in SENS. I don't know if we got that one on our list. There was no news on this. That I could find. Just so you know, but it looks rather strong, is what I'm going to say as I'm sitting here in the short against me. 3D, that downgrade, I think is. We just talked about it with Mark, so I think it's a little bit significant.
Oh, Shakira.
I did want to be shorting that one. Yeah, apparently Shakira. There you go. Some of our members all over it in the chat here. That was the recent signing. But 3D, it just looks very, very weak. It's almost down 10%, so we're going to have the SSR rule come into play here. But if it rolls over like a 28.50 or test 30 even, I just really think this is going to be interesting. The downgrade, it had already gone parabolic, top end of the range, a little bit of failure at the top yesterday's action as well. So lots to work with on 3D systems.
Okay, guys, we'll move down to the IPOs from yesterday. Wells Fargo, we talked about a little bit with Mark there. So, I mean, if you guys want to, we can have a look at Wells Fargo. But Wolf, the most exciting one yesterday, it was probably one of the easiest IPO openings that we can remember sitting around here yesterday. If you took the opening print, you were never out of the money. Nice move to the upside. Following that, it was a matter of how and when you got out. Valued the company at more than $6 billion, where it did start trading, raising $864 million for Petco. It was interesting. I read this morning, guys, that this is the third time this company has actually been public.
Yeah, it's a little back and forth action.
98, 2004. And then I think 2006, they went private again. So, yeah, good call. I tweeted this out yesterday, guys. It doesn't get much easier than this. This is exactly what Brendan said there. So I told you yesterday I was crossed up to $50, and I think it was Randy Turner. You tweeted at me last night and said you made a boatload, and thanks for the advice. Look, you just got to put a bid. So I was bidding $50, limit order. Obviously, it comes out at 26, so I highlight that's where I went long. Took a little bit out way too early, 26, 26.40. I get out near the 50s there. Then we get out some before 27. Hey, like a fiddle, man. This is how I play it all the time. Out before again against 50, and then out again against 28. So Yeah, a big run to the upside there. Yeah, happy day. There it is. It was a big one. And then yesterday we also celebrated. This is on my Twitter account as well. We celebrated with William the Cat. We got a nice Chianti to celebrate Petco there yesterday. So yeah, look, it was a big day for us here on the show. And Woof.com, or not Woof, that's Petco. Yeah, Woof here on the NASDAQ, 29 and change. The charts are going to be useless. You can see a 3-minute chart. That's pretty useless as well. But I'm just looking at this little level. Hopefully, yeah, I guess it looks okay on the screen. 31.30 was yesterday's high. We just look to take it out again. I mean, you saw Firm. You're going to see Posh. You see Airbnb, Dash. I mean, name one. It seems like all of the IPOs, Snowflake. We're going to talk about Palantir again today. Look, they just keep going. And I said to Brendan that why everyone going through SPACs? Like, apparently, if you just go through an IPO, you can get these initial first day bumps. Remember, this thing priced at 18, Neil. So it's already a double, well, getting close to a double for most investors here.
Yeah, my comment on this was that initial trade looked so much better when it didn't have the secondary move, and this was sort of the issue here. It pulled back into 27, Petco, and then that was the run to 31. It essentially gave you a pullback and then another 10% move to the upside. And you know what, this sends. I just re-engaged short at the high of the day, 180, got in at like 78, and I just literally punched out at like 183 there. So another 5-cent hit on SENS. Well, 8 cents the first time, 5 cents this time. And we're going to see what happens here because that's a little bit of a breakout stock. It looks strong, but I'm going to probably stay away from it until like 9:30. But Wolf definitely has some levels we're going to talk about here. That 27 stands out because it was a monster dip buy that was actually better than the opening print. And then in the afternoon, it made a similar bottom to that here, Brennan.
Okay, guys, we'll bring in Arun here, have a look at the futures as we head towards the open just past 9 o'clock. That means we're under 30 minutes before the market gets open. Arun, what do we need to know today? I mean, it's, again, Friday heading into a long weekend. Is that typically going to lead to a little bit lower volume, less action?
Yeah, you know, when you have a long weekend coming up, it tends to be, the volume seems to be more concentrated towards the open and the close, right? So the first half hour, the final hour or so. That's where I'm looking for a lot of activity. Keep in mind, it's also options expiration, so that kind of adds a little bit more juice to the close. You know, we just had retail sales numbers come out, and I managed to pick up a short just before they came out. So I am sitting short just underneath 80. I am looking for downside pressure. It does look like that 80 level seems to be pretty heavy on the sell side in terms of activity. So I'm going to keep an eye on that 80. I do have 37.90 as a stop. So that short that I have, it's 90 is going to be the stop on that. And keep in mind, 90 was the stop for the mid-level range that I had given yesterday. And then it held right up until the close, which broke it. And now that 90 is back in play because the 80s have a ton of selling in front of them. So 90 is going to be the first level to the upside. And then, of course, we have that 38.25 that's been in play all week, right? And then to the bottom, 37.55. That is the bottom end level that's been in play all week as well. So if we can take that, I think we can really get going here. It does look like we just took out 70. So we're now down to 68 and approaching the lows, which is, I believe, 65 or so. So at the open, that will dictate exactly how we're going to play this retail sales number. We're either going to reject it or accept it. Anytime we have these heavy economic indicators come out, the A30 or whatever the case is, at the open, it's either an acceptance of that number being negative. In this case, it was negative, or it's going to be a rejection, meaning there's something else that's going on that kind of bypasses that number if we turn around. So I'm going to hold on to this position at least until the open. And once the market opens and I get to see which direction we're going to head in, I will either hold on to the short or I will just dump it and wait for another trade. But yeah, 37.90 on the top end, 37.55 on the bottom end. Of course, we have 38.25 all week on the top level.
Real quick, Arun, before we let you go, somebody asking whether you're looking specifically at, we've covered this before, but whether you're looking specifically at the futures contracts or are you trading ETFs?
No, I'm going directly to the futures contracts. My take, you can trade the spiders. They have the exact same chart as the S&P E-mini contract. The only thing that I find, keep in mind with ETFs, there is a time value, I guess, deterioration. That's the word I'm looking for, deterioration over the time. So if you get a contract and you get the spiders at the same time throughout the day, by the end of the day, you're going to have a couple cents difference, even though you may have the same price when you actually got in. So for that very reason, I actually can't exactly price the spiders properly relative to the S&P 500 contracts. So I just stick with the contracts specifically.
Great
and
stuff.
I just trade that out.
Yeah, great stuff, Arun. Thanks so much. We've talked about it in the past, but worth covering again. Have a wonderful weekend, sir. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
See you, Brendan.
All right, guys, let's continue along with what is moving around in the pre-market here. We'll move down to Poshmark, the other IPO from yesterday. Not as much attention around this one. It did give you a really nice opening trade as well. You did have to sit through a little bit of a pullback. But Poshmark, guys, what do we do with this one today?
I mean, the price action is sort of telling you that if you're going to sell one of these, and when I say these, I sort of mean these two, because the other one being Petco, it's probably going to be Poshmark. And, I was immediately looking at that 100 level, at least for a couple of reasons. One, it's the pre-market high. I mean, it was a couple of prints above here. If you look at the previous close, we did close above that 100 mark, which is a little bit surprising to me. When you get the afternoon drop like this, I didn't really think it would have enough of a base. And again, it bottomed out at 95, which had some support before. So I guess it's not that unexpected that you got a nice little bounce. I didn't think that would continue past the 100. It did, but now I'm going to use that 100 as a bit of a resistance point. I tend to take the line of, if you look at previous examples, and I think DoorDash is a good example here, there were a couple of days where he sort of slid back to the downside, broke some of those levels before it made a base, and then went on what has obviously been a crazy run because Dash hit like $200 after falling down to 140 where support was. I don't know where that will be on Posh, but the levels I'm watching are 95. You got these bounce points here, and then of course a 91 bottom. So look, it's the one I'll try to pick to the short side today on Petco. I might be looking at a few long trades. 27 seems like a good level over there, but 95, 91 on Posh for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna love that Wolf long. I'm just gonna wait for it to break through 31 and would love to get the IPO prices like Neil said. If we can get close to 26, 27, that would be fantastic on that one as well. And look at Affirm. If this doesn't get you excited about IPOs, I don't really know what would. I mean, you can get in at 90. Forget about everybody in at 49. If you can get in here at 90 and then just hold it, and then a couple days later, you're at 134. So that's a 40% move. This was actually, did I say a couple days? 1 day later, I meant. You buy here the first day, then you can get up to side here, and then the fall back down. There's always like a little bit of jubilation or whatever for this. You get these blow off tops here where people just love the stock. They want to get in no matter the price. And I just wonder if that's going to happen today with Wolf. But there is this level right here, 125. I mean, that's a pretty key level. We stopped there on Affirm and then came back down to the downside before touching last night, 106. And this is what I mean. The steam can come off these things just as easy as they go upside. So if you do get some positive notes, again, adding funds buying it, any sort of note that comes through. You do have one on Palantir today as well. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I like a 125 level on Affirm. And then you guys all know Wolf, Petco there. We showed William the cat earlier. And then now we're going to, it is coming back down a little bit to life here. So it touches up yesterday, 31.20. That's going to be my breaking spot for today. Let's call it 31.25. And then the downside of Neil's level there. I mean, if Neil or I could get 26 or 27, I mean, I think that would be a go spot.
I'm parking a bid.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other part about that is if you get, so I don't know if Neil mentioned this, I think he'll probably have the same ideas as me. If you do get long Wolf, you have a guaranteed out of that IPO price of 26. So you have absolutely no worries about that to the downside. If you take a 27 or 28 long, your risk is $2. I think that's well worth it. So watch out for Wolf. I'm going to be bidding down low side on this one as well.
Yeah, it's about liquidity. There's going to be liquidity for, 99.999% chance there'll be liquidity at that 26 price. I mean, it's close to 100 as you'll get.
Okay, guys, let's go to Palantir. Palantir next. Back on watch this morning. Big gap to the upside. There's no additional news. We talked about the new contract they got from the Army at the beginning of the week. 4-stage, 2-year contract. Can't remember the dollar amount, but anyways, more contracts for Palantir. But another gap here today, guys. 5% to the upside, back above this 26 we're trying to hold right now.
I tweeted it out earlier about Palantir and that it was nice that we're finally getting a little bit of a run up. Here's a little bit of a bid imbalance. You guys not like to see the imbalance locator, so that's coming up. 2640 is a great spot. 2650. We bounced around there yesterday. 2640. It looks like that's going to be the spot that we're going to hammer this thing through. 26. I mean, it's really. I almost think it's better to wait for 26.50 just to make sure that you do get a confirmation of a break through a great level. A 40 is a good level. Obviously, that's the high of the day here. It's actually 44, 43, so I'm wondering if 26.50 is a little bit of a better spot here. Look, yesterday we were higher than it was today. So it's not like this is an amazing opportunity here. Or sorry, yesterday was down here. That was 2 days ago. We were higher. It's not like this thing's finally taking off. It's still stuck in a range. We've talked about that for on and on and on here. And it's been a call of mine from down here. There is some clusters here. And then there's a lot happening. You can see the moving average just keeps on moving up here on the 50-day. So I'm still trying to get long. I was initially trying to get longer at 22.23. That never happened. There was some good buying opportunities down on these dips, and I think if it happens again, you could buy more. But for now, it's still a waiting game. I still think 30's there. And look, with all of these things being announced, this is the thing. It definitely is an opportunity, I believe, anyways. You can get some January 30 calls, something like that, even $28 calls, whatever. I just think that Palantir can get going here. It's one or two upgrades away, one or two good, like real good stories, not just a contract, but somebody's bought it. A hedge fund has bought it. Somebody's upgraded this thing. Then I think you run back to the highs. So I'm going to wait for it. But for today, I like a 26.50 break.
Yeah, I guess you said that it's forming that wedge, and that could actually further consolidate before it breaks out, if you're into those technical patterns. That kind of means that any dip down to like 25, you can certainly be buying it that way. Between 40, 50, and 60, 50 looks like it makes the most sense to me, just sort of going back to this cluster, the cluster theory that Mark talks about. And I go, you go into like the 12th and 11th here, and you have that top at 50, and you have failed breaks at 50. So I think 50 for me seems like the number that I would lean towards along those lines, guys.
All right, guys, let's revisit GameStop here. Next on the list, GME, 150%, or nearly 150% in 4 sessions to the upside. We talked about still this morning, I double-checked, 102.1% short interest on this stock. They came out earlier in the week talking about better than expected holiday season sales and preliminary Q4 sales data as well. It's been nothing but upside, but we are looking a little weak today.
A little bit, and you had that last sort of breakthrough, or attempted breakthrough at 42, and that would have been right around lunchtime, just after we got off the show here, slam back down, and then you had a bit of a 40 top. Then you see it try to open up, and again, this is early in the pre-market, of course, above that price, and you have us now holding below this like 40 level. So on some of those like $1, $2, $3 names that you'll see me trade over and over again, or CS trade a lot of times, this would be that setup where you're playing off of this 40 level, waiting patiently for it. The only other thing I had was this 37.50 to 38 area. Now, if there had been a trade where you had this little cluster here in the pre-market, and then we were breaking down through 37.50 to 38, I probably would have been shorting that price on the open on momentum. But because we've already broken through or clawing back, the only trade for me is going to be using this 40 area. As always, if you are shorting GameStop, you have to have an out. Whether it's a tight stop or an area stop, I actually wouldn't have an area stop. I would have a tight stop only so that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It hits this price, you get out, make sure there's liquidity there. I'm sure there will be some at 40, possibly some around this like 41, 41.25 high of the day if you're interested in that as well. Well, high of the pre-market at least. So have a stop. I'll be using 40 as the first short spot. If it turns around and I miss it, I'll then go back to this 37.50 to 38 area to see if it can fill in some of this gap to the downside. But as always, be very, very careful shorting GameStop.
Yeah, yesterday, you can see here, there was a little bit of back and forth here yesterday. We shorted, we got out, we got blown out, not blown out, but we went to the long side there on this VWAP break. Then we shorted again, we got out. And then we went long right here on this last VWAP break. We take a little piece out for 50 cents, then we take a little piece out for $1.50. And then this happened, guys. Straight to the high side. We were still long a third of our position. I thought I tweeted the out, but you know I got out at $40. I mean, that's an obvious play. So that's another $4 winner to the long side yesterday on GameStop to go with our long from the day before, which was right here, $23, out $34. So we've been running this thing to the long side and been quite successful there. So you know what? I'm looking at GME here. Neil just talked about it, gave a couple good levels out there. I said to Brendan earlier today, I was listening to Jim Cramer yesterday, and he mentioned that the way to blow these shorts out and to sort of, play the game was GameStop should offer shares right now. And imagine if they did that, then everybody that's been buying up here 40, 30 would get stuck because the offering price would be down here 26, 28, where they could find some real liquidity to buy that up. So we'll watch on GameStop. I wrote down here on the magic sheet $36. So that was this little drop spot there. We had some messed up spots yesterday at 36. So, I mean, ultimately, I think if we could drop a little, I've already paid for shorts on this name. I don't even know if we had to, but they were 3 cents a share. So that's a no-brainer there. You know, you take 1,000 shares, it's $30. Like it's really unbelievably cheap there if my math is correct. But this 37 area, 36.50 is that drop spot. And then I'm just going to wait for 36 to break, although this high is even better. That's 35. So we'll wait to see on the short side, but I am preferring the short to the long. However, I don't mind a long through 40 again if that happens. So I'm going to do a little bit different on GameStop. I'm going to rely, hopefully, on you viewers to let me know what's happening with GameStop when it's getting, you know, close to that 40 or near that 36. There's just going to be so much to look at. I like GameStop, but I don't love it today.
All right, guys, let's go to 3D Systems. We mentioned it briefly with Mark Roberts. We'll come up with a bit of a plan here. It's been such a move over the past week or two for this stock to the upside. JP Morgan seems to be the catalyst this morning, coming out, downgrading it to underweight from neutral, so a little bit of a negative catalyst going into it. Since January 8th is when that recent move to the upside started. That was because they sold their non-core software assets. So 3D Systems again today moving lower.
Interesting. You could replace 40 with 30. And then that 37.50 to 38 area with 28.50 to 29 on 3D, and just basically rinse and repeat everything I just said about GameStop there. So it's probably the same plan of action. One difference is 3D Systems does have a bit of a catalyst we talked about with Mark, that they could be in that ARC space, SPAC. And speaking of that, I don't think we even mentioned it, but ARC's lead, Miss Wood, that's who bought up Palantir. So sort of doubled 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row, ARC is making some headwinds here. It's going to be short sell restricted, and it's only done 500,000 shares in the pre-market. I got to go this way to show you guys. And there is a bit of a spread on 3D, so this is always going to be an after the open trade where there's more liquidity. I'm not even putting a stop order in or anything like that on 3D. I probably wouldn't do that on GameStop either, but I'll be looking to see if it bounces into this 30 range. If it does, I'll try to get a fade trade off of 30. Or we just take out this 28.50, and those are the two trades that I want on 3D Systems, guys. So one other thing I want to quickly go to, it's not on our watch list, but I've been in JagX all morning long. There was a little bit of action yesterday, right around noon. As you can see, it absolutely felt like a rock, about $1 on multiple halts, and came right back and then settled at like 345. Then there was an iceberg at about 345 that broke, and when it was a big buyer actually. When it broke, I went short. I've been holding it ever since. I didn't reload at 345, but it's a very simple trade. 350 was my out. Just using the weakness after all that commotion, and then I have some bids all the way down here that I put in literally at like 7:30 or so, and it's starting to work to the downside on me for JagX.
Okay, 3D here. I like this $28 break. We've looked at that a couple times now. Let's just see if it comes through. Yesterday it held. When it does break yesterday off the this move at 12:30 out of nowhere, 29 down to this view up level of 27.50. So I'm not sure what happened there, but it took off like crazy again yesterday. That's 3D we're talking about right here. So again, like all of these shorts, man, I mean, everybody just getting squeezed to death right now. There's so many short plays that are coming through, and we may be wrong today, but I think it's a short. Neil talked about it through 28.50. That could be the case, and we like it. Obviously, if 28 is going to work, then so is 28.50. I'm going to be a little more conservative and wait for a 28 break, but that's going to be another good trade for me that I'm going to try to put. Not good trade. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but that's going to be a trade that we're going to try to put on here through 28. I think we have shortable shares on this one, so should not be a problem. But 3D through 28 is another one of those positions that I'm excited for. All
right, Sean, I'll come right back to you here. Tilray Afria moving to the upside again today. We spoke about the cannabis group already. A lot of people still coming in, joining us, though. Let's revisit a couple of these maybe before the open and come up with a plan for cannabis today.
There it is. Yeah, Weed Batman's in the building. We wrote down $20 earlier about cannabis here for Tilray. That was that spot right here. So I wrote it down because we were actually looking for it to go short through 20, and then the long, as I was caught talking about it before when we opened the show, I was liking this 22 cluster up here to see what was going to happen around $22 for Tilray. You're up another 12.5%. Remember, Tilray and ACB are merging. They're becoming one. I think that provides a lot of opportunity in the U.S. market for Afria, so you know. Regardless, I think Tilray's a play today, down to 20. Let's see if we can defend that 20. We stopped up here at 1930, 1915 or so, 1930 this high, 1910 there. So, I mean, will it fall back down? Yes. These can get pretty choppy when they're moving. You can see here, this is a pretty choppy afternoon. But yesterday, right off the bat, we had CGC long, and that was a great trade for us. We posted that up on our LinkedIn as well. Yesterday, this 33 break right here that we had on CGC, that was a multi-day high. So if we go back over, let me just call up the daily chart on CGC and show you why we like that so much. It's not going to go back too far here for us, but $33 was a high. We had $33 right there. We broke it. We popped up higher. CGC today not moving, but Afria and Tilray are the ones that are moving. There's Cron, there's Hexo. Look at this move, 9,950. Here's the cluster right there. The break on earnings, the break on the Tilray news, all the way up to 14 and a half yesterday. Got real super exciting. And then now today, again, just clustering to the high side. 2 million shares makes a lot of sense, but you know, I still think that we can retest back down. What happens with cannabis is there's a lot of profit taking. It's a lot. I don't want to say it's a lot of smoke because then again, we're just getting cheesier and cheesier. But you know, there's a lot of excitement here, and then now I think it's going to be coming off a little bit. That doesn't make sense. That we're up another 12.8%. But hey, I'm going to be trying to look long, but I don't mind a short. And I really, if I'm going to prefer one over the other, and Neil, maybe you're going to look at Sundial or something today, but I think this 20, let's see if that can hold here on Tilray. If it does, then yeah, I think a 22 and change break should happen.
How did you know that? Yeah, you say profit taking. I think anytime you look at a penny stock, that's going to be the case here as well. The day that this makes a run back up to those 90s and that 95, where it was probably the best trade, will be fantastic, and that's great. But for now, I'm just looking at an 80 level on Sundial. It's trying to get through 75. I think there will be profit taking at some point today. There are a few names I like a little bit better. We've gone over a couple of them. One of them, that JagX, which is a day 2 play, and then talking about GameStop and 3D, which I know we're going to be on the move, but I am watching Sundial at 75. If it breaks through, I'm looking at that 80. I'm not forcing the trade in either one of those. I need to see it roll over first because I really, really hope that somebody squeezes this thing to $1. I think that's going to be a very good trade when it happens.
Yeah, GameStop going already, guys, to the downside. So just a heads up if you're planning on watching that GME. Spotify, we'll talk about Spotify here a little bit. Not really doing a heck of a lot in the pre-market, guys. We mentioned Citigroup coming out downgrading the stock today. They specifically mentioned that their effort into the podcasting world is not paying off for them, both on the premium subscriber number and also on the revenue side of things. So a little bit more negative here for Spotify today.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've already talked a little bit about Spotify, and you can look at it. There wasn't too many shares going off through there. It made a nice high, I think, at that 340. It topped off, I think, 370 was a crazy blowout high. But Brendan, I just want to get to something here quickly because there's a lot of talk about this, and it's on our watch list here, and it's BlackBerry, right? A shout out to a bunch of the traders here that I'm part of a chat group with, traders from our Toronto floor. Calling BlackBerry a couple days ago was huge here. A lot of catalysts coming through, partnerships. They sold some tech, some pieces here yesterday. What was it? Patents, that's what it was, patents, right. To Huawei there. Huawei obviously in trouble with the US government still, but they sold them, so that's gone. And then they have Amazon, they have cars. They have a lot of technology coming through. And then BlackBerry today, up again, another 19.2%. Like, what a jump spot here, man. 740. Actually, Brendan, maybe there's shortable interest on this as well. This is just a big move because the BlackBerry news was actually announced with Amazon weeks and weeks ago. Yep. So that's, that's a catalyst, sure, but if we thought that was a catalyst, then we should have been long. So I guess it's the Huawei, and I'm just assuming that there is maybe some shorts still in this. This once high-flying Canadian company has been left for dead. So right now, BlackBerry up again, another 19%. It just has a feeling like it's a short squeeze again on this name. But 1060 here, a nice bottom. And then, you know what? I think it takes the top out again here on BlackBerry, especially if this is a short squeeze. This is a new name to a lot of you Robinhooders out there, I feel, because it's Canadian, because it's a little bit undercover, and it's an old tech, like old name. BlackBerry, though, becoming new tech right now with Amazon. 1.6 million shares to buy. They've already paired off that. Let's see it dip down here to 10, and then let's see a takeoff. So I'm going to defend this level. I'm going to see if I get some low bids here, 10, maybe even 1050, and then see what happens to the high side on BlackBerry. What a surprise this name's been. Yeah,
it's not a huge short interest. It's like 7%, which I believe is exactly what it was when we came with the Amazon news before. So it might be a bit of a squeeze. I'm sure there might be a few more bets. It's the short side that could get put on today. This stock can be good for some breakouts. You do see, just because it was a great breakout in that sort of opening range trade yesterday doesn't mean that's going to be the best trade to be looking at. I'm not touching this one to the short side. It's probably not going to happen unless we get some kind of a parabolic move up. Or we actually break that 10 and hold below it or something like that. So I was immediately looking at like the 1150 to see what happens with the next round dollar. The dip buy, I might not take it. I think it's actually a solid idea just looking at the chart, looking at the daily chart, sorry. Just when you look at this like 950 double top, or 970 double top, that 10 makes a heck of a lot of sense on a dip buy in front of it. There's one that I know I missed the boat on here, and Brennan's at the big screen with a small cap that I should have had, CHRA. Brennan.
Chara Solutions, yeah, micro cap. This thing's tiny. I was way more than 100% early on, but CHRA in New York, there's two levels really. 590, which is where I left the cursor there, and then 570 below that. Kind of looking at those two. So if we get any kind of move back up into 60, 70, 90, even into that congestion from the pre-market, worth noting this stock typically barely trades. So this is already way more volume than it's used to trading, especially in the pre-market. So we'll have a look at CHRA. It is a little thin though, guys, so tread lightly.
Yeah, it's all that volume in 9 million is deceiving. This is the level 2 on CHRA. 550 was a decent a price on a pullback just now. I'll be looking at that at the open, but so much volume, relatively speaking, and not completely crumbling. This one actually has a shot that if it got through that 550, it's a momentum sort of scalp play. The next one on our list was going to be Lemonade. I know there's only 4 minutes left. Citron with their short seller report, a few days after Lemonade already made a top, which we talked about with Mark. And he sort of agreed. It was sort of already in for a lot of reasons, and we've been mentioning that on Lemonade for a few days now. I think if it gets through, let me zoom this out just a little bit for you guys. If it gets through this 154 area, there's probably some momentum to the downside and a bit of a quick scalp trade. Usually the spread makes breakdown trades not fantastic for Lemonade, but I've been seeing a reasonable spread so far this morning. That could change at 9:30. If we get back up to about a 162 to 164, I'm definitely going to fade. If it bounces $10, I'm probably going to be shorting Lemonade today, no matter what. The breakdown trade, I do like it. I just got to make sure there's some actual liquidity and the spread isn't crazy at 9:30, Sean.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to looking at the list here, trying to get it all set up as we only have now 3 minutes to go. I do like Wolf through yesterday's high of 31.20 or so. I guess it's 31.10, 31.19, whatever that is there. It doesn't matter. Through 31 is good enough to me. Check back in on JP Morgan here. The best of the best, not looking like that today, down 2.5%. I don't like to trade JP Morgan off these earnings here. I'm not sure what they're going to do to it. So let's just wait to see. I don't really have a plan of action for JPM. I wrote down 138. We already violated that one, so we'll have to wait on that. WFC, another bank reporting today. Basically the same fate, but it's a way worse bank. So you got to watch out for WFC here. 3250 is what I wrote down here for WFC with a bunch of stars. That's like the only one that had stars there. It's actually 3270, but that's sort of where we just dropped down to there, 3289 on WFC. So watch out for that. It looks like that's going to be coming faster than we hoped for, or for anybody that's a long WFC, you don't like that kind of news. Wait on this. ACB, there's Palantir as well. We have a Palantir play through 20 650 it is on Palantir. There's a big WFC short, so that could hit it. We came earlier with XOM and some whistleblower news here. We'll see if that affects the stock. It doesn't look like it's going to at all, as it's bounced back to 49 here on XOM.
Sean, if I can quickly
go
here,
ahead.
Poshmark just broke through this 95, and this is the candle. I mean, so much for liquidity there. I actually just canceled my order. I don't want to get in. Immediately, it was like a 70-cent spread when it broke the 95, and with a minute to go to the open, I don't want it snapping back up on me here. I did like that breakdown trade, but I mean, got to get that at the open or when there's actual shares to be able to be had. If it pops back up, instead of taking 95, I'll kind of let it get into this like 96, 97 range. I do think that might be the better play, just given how illiquid it was on that break. I think waiting for a pullback makes a little bit more sense to me. GameStop, I don't know, through 37.50 right now. I don't know if I have my order for 40, and I have my order to get short in front of it already. So if it pops up, I will have that one. It looks like it's trying to come back to 38, but a lot of these are probably going to be post 9:30 plays with the exception of JAGX. And I mentioned this one quickly, Sens. I was already in and out twice losing on short positions here, and then here again at 180. Didn't get very far. So if this one fails through 180 and gets back below 175, I'm probably going to take a short. That could happen rather quickly off of the open. It is the end of the week, and it's been a fun one. It's going to be an awesome show today. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some special guests for you, but we got Miss V on the bell.
Let's go!
Let's get this party started. Lower that bell there, Robbie, and let's get Miss V to ring the bell to end the week. It should be a good one, guys.
3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, so waiting for WFC to come through. Welcome to the show. If you're joining us for the first time, we're going to be trading equities here live for you on the show. So get ready to rock and roll as we watch WFC. It looks like they're not panicking to the downside here. They're actually starting to head upside right now on WFC. So could be a decent opportunity to start building a short. But like I said, I kind of want to stay away a little bit from some of these names today. Not some of these names, but at least bank earnings. I'm not into anything yet. We're still waiting for Palantir. Palantir just breaks below that $26 level.
I just got into that CHRA when it popped to the upside, and Sens just broke that 175. I said this could happen rather quickly on SENS at that consolidation, so there's the breakdown. That failed break at 180 got to 190. I'm short at 74 here. I'll only give it to about 180, but here's level 2. There's a monster seller at 500,000 shares. If that's real, I'm going to see if I can't pick up some more shares, but monster seller here on Sens. They just followed it down. Oh, give me more, give me more, give me more. Yeah, so they followed it down there. You guys saw on level 2, 171. If it's real, fair enough. If it breaks, I'm going to get right out and not use 180 as my stop. Maybe like a 175, something like that.
And bang, right off the bat, we take a big Palantir win again. Yes, nice little win on Palantir, guys. I said we were going to buy that when it was down there. We buy that bottom, 25.80. We're long. We go long again right now on this break. This is that break that we're waiting for here to the high side on Palantir. We are waiting for that 26.40 break. Let's see if it goes. Go, Palantir. Here we go, baby. Starting to make the move to the upside here is Palantir. We're taking some off and cashing in right now. Already a big trade for me, guys. Daily goal 1 met. Let's just keep going, Neil.
Always about that, guys. So immediately goes to that 175 on Sens, and then phantom selling comes in. So no big size orders, but there is lots of liquidity at that price. I got to go to chart because things got a little bit crazy with this one. It snapped back up at the open, and then I tried to get some more shares here after a 511. I wasn't able to pick a second entry into the short side. If it breaks 5 even, that's going to be how I get back into this name, guys. And then GameStop is headed towards 40. I'm waiting in front of it. It's at 39 right now. It needs to get to like 39.50 or so before I get in.
Okay, so there goes PLTR here. A good little trade for us. We're going to watch that as it goes. See if we can hold for a little bit more high side there. And then BlackBerry, guys, the name that I said nobody knows about. Maybe you do. Let's wait to see if it goes to the high side now. We take that high of the day out. So we take out that 30. It goes down. We get a little bit light now, but now we're running to the high side here with BlackBerry. So long 1132, upside now with BlackBerry. We just destroyed Palantir. Palantir's coming back down, but we're out of that a little bit. Now we're going to watch BlackBerry, see if it has momentum to break through this 1150.
Yeah, and here comes GameStop running like a horse. Sens just got out as it broke back to that 180, so it looks like there's some strength. Whoever sold 500,000 can't be too happy about it. I'm going to go ahead and remove my order that was waiting because if we turn over on GameStop anywhere around this 39.50, I might use the lack of momentum there to start that position instead of sort of waiting for it to come to me. Just got into GameStop. We'll get to chart in a second. That one's looking pretty good. Brendan, what's up?
All right, guys, early mover here, JP Morgan. We had some selling come in right off the open, but look at this. They've bought it off 137, back through 139 now. For JP Morgan, trying to get back to the upside.
Yep. So we're getting lighter and lighter here. Okay, JP Morgan, we'll look at that. WFC, we had a killer spot on that as well. Palantir, big day. We just tweeted that out. Look at this long, 25.80, 25.90. We take advantage of that buy imbalance and watch it dip down. I'll explain that after the logic when there's big buy imbalances, why it dips down. But right now I'm trading, so we'll do that after. We have Kevin O'Leary coming at 10:30. That should be a good one. Here goes Palantir. Let's just watch this thing. We're long at 26.43 right now, but we've already banked a lot of this victory. So let's just give it to the high side now. I don't really have an out. VWAP 26.25. That's not a horrible spot to get out here of our long if it does fade back in. BlackBerry's coming off a little bit. We did get some out at 50 there. Our best out, what are these? 50s, yeah. So 48s and 50s are best out. You know me, guys. I get out in front of those key levels. Now BlackBerry comes falling down to the downside. We still have some on. It's not a huge spot on, but we missed getting all of them out there at 50. Should have been a little more diligent with that one.
Chara the stock, not the hockey player, starting to fall to the downside. So we're going to see if we can line this one up and knock it out. I did say I was trying to get more shares up here at 511 and was just a little crazy and I was getting into sends. I actually got back into sends on a 180 retake of that level. But Chara, I took the 5 break. I want to make sure we can get this sliding down. It's been selling off the entire way, all pre-market here, but lots of relative volume, and it's been above that sort of like 5 mark for most of it. Now that we're below, I like it a little bit better. There was one we didn't mention, DBVT. Very quickly, I want to say here, there is a 565 level, which looks very, very good. It's creeping up towards it. I'm hands off until it gets a test of 565. That was the last one on our watch list. We did try to get to as many as we could, guys.
Yeah, and sorry about that. We are very busy here, especially off open sometimes here. So we did buy some more Blackberries there, and you got to sort of defend some of these plays if you do believe in them. Our dropping spot's going to be around a 1050 area, but a nice little buy back on Blackberry. It does go up as high to get us back to flat. Our average price right now is 11.25. There goes Palantir again. Palantir trying to make new highs. We just took some out again there at 58. We're going to layer some orders out, see if we can't touch out some 70s, and then let this thing run. But right now, Palantir and BlackBerry carrying the day for your boy. What's up, Beat?
This one had a big pop yesterday, late in the day, guys. BNGO, Bio-Nano-Genomics. I guess it was pretty much the entire session, but this run up late in the day took it up to almost 8. So 8 even just broke, guys, on huge volume for bingo.
Oh my goodness, we're going to be trading that one again at some
name,
point today. Yeah, we know that name, and then we're going to get back to it in a second. I have to go back to GameStop just for a bit here. It went all the way in the money, almost a buck, and then retesting this 39.50 area with some consolidation here. So I'm not going to add to this position. You know, if we looked a little bit weaker, and I'm looking at the level 2 here, if we looked a little bit weaker, maybe I'd want more shares, but not going to go ahead and do that on GameStop. Chara, on the other hand, this one working okay. We said we'd get some bids out here and took some off 85, took some out 75. Short is basically around $5. I think 450 is a reasonable next target, and then we'll sort of work with those quarter areas like we are going to do here. DBVT I just went over, but DDD, oh man, I'm going to have trouble with these. $30. Again, do as we say, not as we do. I did say I wanted to roll into a short. Over 30, but I have 4 stocks that I'm in and lots of trades in all of them. I did miss out on DD when it hit that 30 price. Turn around on a dime. Love that level. Didn't catch it.
Guys, look at Palantir right here. It's hot dogs for everybody. We're going to fire them off right now. Palantir just bang, bang, bang to the upside. We're hitting our goal, and we're just smoking it today. 25.80 to the downside. We take this break there. That's the break that we gave you guys on the show. You're welcome. This is a $1.50 winner to start the day on Palantir. Bang. Also a nice little 20-cent win with BlackBerry. Brendo.
A little one from the EV space, Solo, guys. They came out and announced new plans for retail space. So they're going to actually open brick and mortar retail stores for this Solo, guys. 6.5% today.
Solo, why not? And there goes Sens. I like this sell. I took it once. Well, I took it like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th time, and the 5th time looks like it is going to be the charm. It just broke a 170 bidder. There's now a 165, which that's the remnants of that order. You just saw the last 50,000 shares go. I got back in at 180. That was the other key price. 10% is basically right around here, the low 160s. We'll take some more shares out in and around that price. I just got some here at 165. And the next leg down is going to be this 150 to 155 area. So that working well. GameStop, if you can't beat them, join them. I like the short below 40. It's above 40.
Oh, what?
And I'm not sure. I have no idea. Sometimes this will happen, and every now and then.
Long.
I actually got 39.30, 39.90, which means a dark pool triggered my order, got me out and into position before it even broke the level, which usually we consider a bad wick, getting me into position. In this particular case, it is blind luck that my price is like $39.90 and not like $40.10 or something like that. So an extra 20 cents saved and then 20 cents made. I just scalped them out at 40.50. Why? High of day 41.50 here. That'll be its own break. I'll probably take off $1.50 and then try to get back in if it takes the high of the day.
Guys, we're just monstrous on our two positions, but I gave you this 40 level earlier, and I was like, you guys, if it happens, let me know. I don't know if you guys were doing that there, but we miss it. Easy long there at 40. Congratulations to anybody that had that. I did want to go back over to weed stocks because Tilray here, remember when I said $20 was something that we would look at? Yeah, it would have been nice for me to actually put an order down there. Now you're at 21 and change. Watch out for the high side on Tilray. And I mean, Palantir, guys, I don't know what else to do for you guys, but this has been a stock that I've loved. I've been hammering these trades. We're monstrous today. You can see the bottom. 50 cents on BlackBerry now, 80 cents now on Palantir. And it's been a monstrous day. Brendan, what's up?
Zoom, guys, we had the offering earlier in the week. If you look at the daily chart, it's been straight up since they had that offering. 5% again today. There was selling at the open, but this is already better part of a $10 move for Zoom, guys.
Yeah,
Zoom. I like it. I like it.
1150 here coming through on BlackBerry. We just took some more off. We learned our lesson. Look at this reload. Like, you want to talk about playing something as good as I possibly can, I feel like. That reload, we could have got better at 1080 down there, but we put it on 96, 97, hold it a little bit against us, and now reaping the rewards of some of these decisions today, guys. We only have two positions on. They're 2 for 2, and they're two monster ones. So, yeah, we're really happy. We will check back in on Woof in a minute.
Wolf just turned around. The afternoon high in Wolf was at 30.35. It just turned around at that exact same price. So it went up 28.50 right through $30.
Really?
Now starting to come back in. I think if it gets to like a 29, I call it like a 29.50 area, I'll be looking for maybe a bit of a dip buy if there's some consolidation down there. It's very thin and there's not a lot of liquidity, but there's a tiny level at 29.50 that might be worth a look. I like 27 better. That 30.35 looks like a good breakout price, at least for me on Wolf.
Yeah, I'm going to take a long through 30 quarters here. We'll just see where it goes on Woof Pack as we go. Okay, WFC, we looked at 32.70 there. I guess that didn't trigger. No, it didn't because we're not in yet. I was wondering why... charts. I was wondering why we made that move upside instead of digging into Palantir and BlackBerry, which I'm sure hell happy that I did. We are going to wait for this one to go through now. 32.80. It's downside on WFC. Let's check back in on JP Morgan, the real trade. And this is what I mean when I say I'm not going to trade it today. I predicted this choppiness, and that's exactly what's happening. So stay away right now from these names, guys.
I mean, that's the thing. We'll wait for the banks. I think next week is probably going to make a heck of a lot more sense. Sens is making another push. Let me zoom in so you can see better. You got bottom wick here at like 62. Next leg would have been 150, but if it's going to continue this push back up, 180 is going to be the level. 180 is where I'm short now, but I'm going to work back into some more shares in front of that price. If it breaks 180, I'm just going to get out of Sens. I said I would wait on Sundial. If 75 had been a little bit of something, I would have tried it. Whoops. Got to zoom the other way. But the level I'm going to be watching is going to be up at 80. It turned at 79 once. If it breaks this, you're talking about $1. And you know I'll be all over that when it gets there, if it gets there.
I got to cancel all my orders here because some of them not hitting yet. So BlackBerry absolutely destroyed. We're super, super happy with the way this one turned out for us. BlackBerry, great trade, man. We just got out again at 45. Now we hold 5%, less than 5%. We are also less than, unfortunately, 10%. We're at like 2% left of Palantir. It's been a big day, just 2 for 2 for me. Nothing else hitting. I'll check back on 3D when we get back from Brendan.
All right, we had Delta earlier in the week, guys, with earnings. JetBlue coming up next week, but they announced their conference call going to be virtual. Obviously, a little bit of positivity. Relative volume in the story here, not a huge move, but JetBlue doing volume today.
JetBlue, well, why not? I'm just going to throw some more bids out there to make sure when Chara continues its fall that we do get some shares out. I wanted to make sure that we got to both of the IPO names. We already talked about Woof a little bit there, but there was the other one. Sorry, I got to go to Lemonade first. Whoops. Lemonade did break that 154. I didn't want that order off of the open. I probably should have done it. It's down to this 150. If it bounces off 150, I'll try 154 again. But I'm also going to take a 150 break. It's an even dollar that's too hard not to play off of. This was the one I thought was going to sell for a while. It got the short seller report anyways later, but liquidity a bit questionable on Lemonade for now. Brennan.
Microvision, some of the LIDAR stocks just popping up here, led by this one, MVIS 11%, big volume as well. through 7. 7 got taken out right to 750 almost for Microvision, guys.
Yeah, Microvision. There's a lot of happening in that name. I'm really happy to see Alibaba back to the high side as well. We'll check out some Microvision. Look at Plug Power now falling a little bit down that 5+%. I said we check in on 3D, so I got to do that in a second. Plug Power, yeah, nice little top at 65 there. Now coming back in, 62 coming into play as well. If you look at a daily chart here, for Plug, let's just quickly look at that. Yeah, not much. It's been going parabolic. Let's leave Plug for now and just continue to look at something else. Palantir still that 40 cents in the money, and BlackBerry as well making moves. But I'm watching that 11 area. I think it's a good reload spot.
3D does finally break that. It does break that 30. I mean, the initial short would have been great. That's fine. It would have given you that dollar. It broke and slammed back down. For now, it's a bit of a temp. I guess failed break, but overall I'm not going to call it that because I wasn't watching level 2 to be able to give you a definitively there. 30.50 is the current high. If it gets to that price and there's any size, I think maybe it's going to be one of those quick little shots for a short, then a reversal to a long break on 3D systems. Sometimes if you can't beat them, you do have to join them. That could be the case here in that particular name. BNGO, this was one I think Brendan brought to you right before the open. Made a top here at 880. Look at this bounce off VWAP. It's still looking very, very strong. I'm going to stay away from it until it gets to like an even dollar range or maybe later on in the session. Chara, on the other hand, no troubles there.
And no Zdeno Chara there, new team in Washington right now.
Where does he play?
He's playing in Washington.
I would have said it. I didn't know where he played, or I would have made the reference. So.
Yep. I only saw that the other day that they were playing on Sportsnet or something. Okay, Virgin Galactic here. Forget about the day chart. Let's just look a little bit more into this play. 31, 31.20, 32.20, 32.50 as the high. Virgin down that 4%. There's not, I mean, it's funny because it seems like there's lots happening, but like I haven't really been able to find too many stocks here so far to trade on levels that I like. Like this is just right in the middle. We can always go back to one of our favorites, AMD, but Brendan always gives us a name anyway. So what's up, B?
Oh, wow, GameStop. Tough one today, guys. Big range on GameStop, right back towards day lows there. Shame. Boxel, I wanted to mention this one. Colorado School Board District teamed up with Boxlight. You can see there was a little pop aftermarket yesterday. So there was the Colorado School Board District purchasing one of their products to implement into schools, which is good for them. So higher again today for Boxel.
Yeah, you can say frustration again on GameStop because this one's been a roller coaster. Short 39.60, out long 39.30. Make money on half the long, try to hold the rest for the high of the day, and then get right back out at 39.60. So overall, I mean, you're going to see like 9 cents. It's basically flat. There's nothing you can do about it here. Very, very whippy action. I'm not going to jump back into it and force any trades in GameStop. I wanted to go back to Posh if I could. I did like the short, but remember there was no liquidity when 95 broke, so I didn't catch it. It's sort of the same thing when it retested 95. 95.50 would have been the place to get into this one. 91 was the bottom on the first day. I think maybe there's going to be some support at that price on Posh, and that'll be the next level that we have a quick look at.
We're out of BlackBerry. Let's just see if we can find out another way to get in there. So we get out right where we got in. We had 2% of our position left, so no big deal on that one. And then the only one we have left is Palantir. And again, this is another 2% position that we have on it. When I say those percentages, it's percentages left of these trades. So sometimes I will hold a smaller portion on. So if you're seeing that on the bottom, like right now we're just 2 for 2 with Best Buy and Palantir, or Best Buy, BlackBerry, and they've both been really, really good trades. So we're going to wait to see. But Palantir right now, you see how choppy it's becoming? I'm just wondering if this trade might be done. It does this. It can go on another run, but we'll have to do some more work on Palantir. What's up, Beep?
Just checking on one of the clean energy names, Polar Power. Yeah, no real significant headlines. You can see it popped up aftermarket yesterday, maybe on the Biden presentation in the aftermarket. But Polar Power, 34%, 52-week highs today, guys.
Wowzers. I'm just watching this consolidation on Woof. On Petco. Yeah. Petco at 29 here, guys. There was a 28.50 bottom, just to zoom out so you can see. It's only yesterday's action that you can work from. It's sort of worth bearing mention in the afternoon. When it did pull back, this is right at the close, and then post-market, 29.40 close, and then all kinds of consolidation at 29 even. So if we hold this level, I'm going to like a breakthrough of yesterday's close price, so this 29.40. So if we can hold these bottoms here, make a nice little run. If we break the low, this trade's out the window. But as long as we hold, 29.40 is going to be a break long for me on Petco. Haven't made a trade today. Kind of wish I wasn't waiting for a bottom pick on this one because off the open, that was a screamer.
Yeah, I was going to say, get off the weed because we've missed a couple weed plays today. Yeah, it hasn't been a good one because we did call. It's embarrassing because we called Tilray. First of all, I like a 14 break here, I think,
Huh?
Okay, Brendan. What's up, bud?
I mean, I could wait. It's not that important. E-hang, guys, 3 days in a row here. We've been talking about this one. It was, I think it was Monday. We showed you those flying cars, individual flying cars. E-hang just popping up here again, 13%. Just broke $50 for EH.
Okay, so yeah, E-hang, look, I mean, that's the thing. We're just joking around. We want to give you guys all of the plays, all of the moving stocks in case, again, you're invested in some of these plays or you're thinking about, uh-oh, my screen is turning off on me here. But in case E-hang comes through, we'll watch that one. I just want to talk, I've been averaged in now twice, and I won't do it again into BlackBerry. I'm trying to use these bottoms. My feet is kicking something down here that seems to be a little bit loose. But 1060, 1070, it might be fine, Rob. Yeah, my screen is fine now. Yeah, it's fine now. $11, $10 coming to the high side. Anyways, I just want to say that I'm averaged in a little bit. It's not the big position that I had on here, but it's a decent one. So watch out for 1060, 1050 break is where I put that order in.
Lucas, if you throw my screen up here, just because I don't think they can't share your screen, that's why, Sean. So I think this is the level Sean's talking about. Double bottom here, pre-market action, and off the opening range. That is 1060. I just want to make sure you guys got the visual look as well. We definitely do the best we can. We do share our screens with you. That's why you can see all of the activity that we have. I stayed away from BNGO, and this is why. Sometimes the stock is a bit of a freight train, and that looks like it's going to be the story again today. Just to go to a quick higher time frame, it's a secondary breakout. If $10 has any kind of size, it's a 50 million in volume. I'm going to be all over BNGO at $10 if I see anything that I even remotely like, guys. Just to go back over to Woof, Petco 29.40 is the break price, but man, it seems like a decent buy here at 29 even as well.
Oh, man, we are once again, man, we are running this game today. Bang! A nice little trade here on WFC, man. Yes, this is a big one for me, guys. Double day now goal right here. This, I mean, what kind of a day is this, right? I mean, what kind of a month, what kind of a quarter has this been trading-wise? It's just been so amazing. Look at this short. We waited patiently all day. We gave you 32.70. It's the only one on this one that has the stars, man. 32.70. So, yeah, your boy hammered it, and now it's a big one. So here we go to the downside. WFC, boom. If you saw the sticky note, it's been a good one. Look at Palantir as well, guys. 77 cents now in the money on Palantir. So again, it's not a big position for me, but it is running to the high side. So that's a good one. And 40 cents now, 30 cents in the money. It just keeps changing for WFC. Now it's 35 cents in the money. WFC, a great little trade to the downside here. We're going to take some off. What a big day for me.
Yeah, and I know you guys, we're going to get that fixed so you guys can see Sean's screen. To the best of my abilities when I'm not busy, if he's talking about something, I can throw up my chart so you guys can see I will do it. I just got some more JAGX in this consolidation here, guys. I'd like it in front of 350 if it gives me that level again. Someone asked for clarification on BNGO. I did mean, yes, I would have shorted it if it got to $10. It did not do that. It just turned at 950. Char is good. It's working the money. JAGX, you can see, is also in the money as well. Sundial was the name I was talking about to you guys for the cannabis space. It pushed to 80 cents, not 95. Ho-hum, I would have liked that a heck of a lot. If we get below 75, I'm likely to hit the bid, if I can at least try to hit that bid at 75 on a break on Sundial if it goes down. So, Brendan, got news for us?
Yeah, so we mentioned that 3D printer, or 3D printing, DDD, triple D. This is another deal, actually, today in the 3D space. So, Desktop Metal, which is DM, buying 3D printer maker Envision Tech for $300 million. So DM in New York, guys. Lots of volume here. This is a big mover as well, up to $25.
All the rage, and of course, 3D also had that other catalyst, of course, getting added to the Nancy Wood SPAC, Space SPAC. I just got into this IPO. It was a good long trade yesterday in Petco. I'm trying it again on this 29.40 break. It did hold 29 even. You heard me say it's probably worth a buy down here. Why am I even waiting for that break? But the breakout trade was the one that I saw. I like the risk to reward because I can give it down like this 29 on a pullback, and then I can start taking some out in front of 30. That gives me like about a 50-cent win or so, 40, 50 cents, which is 1-to-1. And then we can try to take out that high of day 30, 35, where we like to break out trade anyways, guys. So into Petco to the long side, looking to get into Posh somewhere on the short side. So 95 just got retaken. So it's continuing to look weak. This is something that we said all morning long here, that Petco looked relatively strong and Posh looked a little bit weak going into today. It's just tricky to get shares. It's only done 630,000 shares. I might not be able to get something actionable in this stock unless it breaks the absolute low of the day and volume really picks up, because it's doing, I mean, 6-to-1 is the actual volume ratio between between Petco and Posh. I know they're differently priced, but it's basically a 3-to-1 price difference, so twice the relative volume over there.
I mean, we tweeted this out earlier here, and we got the screens fixed. Thank you so much. Look at this. We reloaded long here again at 27.42 on this break, guys. So we reload long again, and now look at Palantir, 28.29. Oh, yeah, and by the way, remember when I told you guys to get January 30 calls? Yeah, I mean, how much are those in the money right now? A nice little move to the upside here. Just keeps on going. They're stacking this bid. Bye-bye, Palantir. You're off to the races, and congratulations to anybody that's long with me on Palantir. Follow me on Twitter. We'll put that up on there. But we've been all over this name. I've been recommending Palantir for a very, very long time. You can see this little long at the bottom here. And this is what we're talking about. Here it is. I put the chart up earlier on Palantir. 25.90, 26. We take that break. That's earlier from today. And then we just reloaded again to the high side on Palantir, 27.40. So that's why you're seeing that big win for us come through. And then WFC, hell yeah, what a great trade this has been for me as well. We're double our daily net already again, guys. And then here we go. BlackBerry, it just doesn't stop. Like now we're long at 83 down here on BlackBerry. Out some 11s. It's just a big day. We go 3 for 3 on a monster day. It's a Friday. We're not on Monday. Kevin O'Leary coming in about 30 minutes. What up, Kevin? Can't wait to talk to you. Give it to us, Brenda.
A little bit of strength coming through in some of the retailers, guys. Kroger just popping up on a volume scanner. Just double check their earnings not until the first week of March, but we broke above that high, 33.50 from yesterday afternoon on decent volume for KR.
So 3D does give you that little secondary break. It just failed at 31.50, and this time it's starting to come back a little bit heavier. I want to give you the 15-minute chart so you can see just what this break looks like from a higher time frame perspective. Yep, to me that just seems like if we can hang below that $30 range, you're going to have a 30.50 stop on a 30 short. So I'm going to take a break of 30 even to the downside on 3D. I haven't gotten into this one yet, but the plan was to use that level. It was great off the open. If it gives me a shot again, I'll go for it. If it holds that bid, no way I'm going to get into it. Still trying to see if we can get up. Only 25 cents in the money on Petco. If it goes another 20, I'll get some out and then see if we can't get a 30 break into that 31.35 where I like that breakout as well.
Look, guys, mad love for everybody today. Look, we like the super chats. I'll give this to Valeria. You know, you want the money, you want the real money thing for Palantir? There it is. Let's go. Run the money thing right now. I'll push that for you. Money for Palantir. Thank you for the super chat, Doug A. And then thank you for the euros, Andrea Bonini. Thank you so much for that, Palantir. Hey, thank you for watching the show. That's the most important thing. And there it is again. Just doubled your money on Palantir calls. There it is right there. An easy $2,000, Manny. You're welcome. Like, what am I'm on the show for you guys. I'm giving these to you guys every single day. There's another one. I made the call. There it is right there. Thank you so much. Easy $2,000 for you, Manny D. You are welcome. And you know what, Neil? Look, I'll take the super chats all day long on these Palantir calls. Let's just keep it running, man. We've got all the calls today for some reason again. BlackBerry monster winner for me today. Big time there. Palantir, I don't need to keep talking about that. And then WFC, like the rain just comes down on WFC. The sticky notes do not fail. We have the sticky notes here. Maybe there should be a monthly membership for the sticky notes. More to come on that one. Thank you so much for everything. I'm just joking. More to come on that, but we're going to wait to see as this just keeps on tanking. We're 3 for 3, and we're monstrous today, guys. This is going to be a big day. It already is. Congratulations. Check at the bottom. You can check our positions, and you can check the damage that we're doing. Let's go.
I do see a couple of names there. Thank you, Joey, for that super chat there. OBSV, VBIV. Anytime there's a name that's not on our list or I haven't watched before, we'll definitely add it and then see if we can't give you information on it. I just don't have any info on either one of those stocks. I want to go to this DBVT. Actually, we're unable to, might be unable to trade this one today, but it was a good look off that 560. Of course, if I tell you guys I like this level, this was a short that I would have and I would put it on. We were unable to do that. I couldn't execute on the stock today for some reason on our platform. But anyways, 550 was a level. It is coming off heavily. If you still have profits there, you probably want to get out of it. 3D Systems just broke that 30. So I did get triggered into this one off of VWAP. I'm going to put my stop at that 30-50 area. Showed you guys that on the higher time frame, why I like that out in the 15-minute chart. If it gets down to 29, take some profit, and then down towards that 28 level. Sort of waited around for this short because it looked too strong off the open. Now playing it on the way back in.
Okay, so right now we're just looking through here. We have Kevin O'Leary coming up. Let's go to number 3, I believe I was told, for Kevin O'Leary. So I believe it's right. There it is. Bang. I finally get it right. So there's Kevin O'Leary coming in about a half hour. I'm going to talk to him about a couple things here about day trading being gambling. If it's gambling, how am I only negative 4 days out of the last 40? We'll see. But that's coming up very, very soon. We're going to talk to him about that. Palantir, I guess I had a stop order here. I did not mean to get out there. So we're now flat on Palantir, but it's been a monster day for us on that name. And breaking through 28 is another long here, guys, for Palantir. So let's get ready to rock and roll on a 28 break. Like, I don't know how juicy this one's going to get, but we're going to try it again. Some nice size coming here at 28. So 200,000 shares. See ya. Watch this one just get eaten up right now. Manny D, thank you so much for that super chat. Holy crap, we are getting super chat alert right now. Welcome to Trader TV Live. Welcome, Joey D. Thank you so much for that. There it is again. Jeremy, look, they're loving even the longer term calls. You love that PayPal call at 200. Too bad you weren't with us last January where I gave the call at 100 PayPal. 108 is my long on PayPal. And then there it is again. He's no shrimp, but let's not shill. Oh, he's no shrimp shill. Okay, but there's another $100. Thank you so much. Cure Leaf, guys. Look, I love the marijuana space. You can keep looking at that. There's True Leaf, there's Cure Leaf. Thank you for that. That's a big one. But look at this, guys. Our Bed Bath & Beyond, like it's BlackBerry now, ripping to the high side. What a great buy. We are just in the money. We are crushing it today. Thank you for the big day. It's a big super chat day for us. It's Friday. It's Kevin O'Leary Day. It's also, Brendan, and we're going to throw to Brendan in a second, but we also do have another big one. Jay-Z, Young Hove, not in the building, but Michael Arbach, chairman, the parent company, Graham.U coming today. Very interesting. I want to actually invest in this. Again, we don't shill companies. These are legit companies coming on the Neo today. We're going to talk about that with Brendan. He was on last week or a week and a half ago, or it was last week, and it's going to be a big one. There goes... Oh, we haven't hit this one in a while. This is the kind of day we're having. We're feeling waves today. It's like a Superman type of thing. WFC, look at this WFC trade. Sorry, Brendan, I'm going to make you wait a couple seconds. WFC down to 32. This is an 80-cent win right now. Check that. We're short at 67. A 60-cent win. Man, did we call this WFC short. We were very, very patient with this one, and it is a monster win. Sorry about that, Brendan. Had to get that going, but I can catch my breath now, drink a little bit of water. What up to Hydration Nation? And let's go to Mr. Wickens at the big screen.
Lots of opportunity so far this morning. Very exciting to get a bit of a review there heading into 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets here. We have the S&P, the Dow, both down 0.3%. NASDAQ trying still. I mean, we mentioned this in the pre-market, guys. Still kind of around that break-even point. Really nothing doing so far as the NASDAQ is concerned. It's interesting to see this kind of negativity in the overall market, but so many individual opportunities. That's why we go down to the individual stocks. The Russell, full percent, 2 days in a row this week. We've had all-time highs for the Russells, so bit of a pullback here, almost a full percent. S&P TSX here in Toronto, dead flat. Down in Brazil, they're a little bit lower as well. Pushing on 2%, in fact, for Brazil. There we go. My screen is switching. A couple things from the watch list to be careful of. DDD. I was really interested in this 32 up here. Didn't quite get there. Got to about 31.5, straight back to 29. So gapping down this morning. We talked about it with Mark. 31.5 was kind of this consolidation area from yesterday in the afternoon. Didn't quite get there, though, but straight back to 29. Yeah, BlackBerry still strong. Back above 11 now, trying to hold as we push towards day highs here for BlackBerry. So all kinds of volume still behind this move for BB as well. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, to say there's a lot going on is a bit of an understatement here. I'll try to recap very quickly. The 30 short DD, I was able to get some out for a 50-cent win. Holding the second, third out for just in front of $1, and then we'll try to hold the rest till the absolute low of the day. Waited for the turn a little bit on that one. I did get into Sundial. Got like 10% out when 75 broke because it didn't really go very far. Chara continues to run in the money for me here, and I also want to go back over to Woof, Petco. This one looked pretty good. We got this 29.50 break. My stop is down around this 29 area. I got some out up here at 29.85, and then we slammed right back down. If we can hold this consolidation, I said I like 29 as an entry and didn't take it. I'll probably get back into some more shares with a tight stop for the second half. And then, of course, the first shares will be at that 29 even. Something that looks like it is trying to roll over. I did get that 75 break, as I said. I would there. So a lot of stocks I put on just now. One that I've had for quite a while, and this is just a day 2 play, and I like these a lot. I missed an opportunity up here in JagX to get the same price I could have had at 344. Instead, I get back in on this consolidation. You'll see me short here at 338. It is retesting the low. I've had bids all morning. I'll allow this one to come back to me. Ultimate target is $3 even. It did close at 333, so I'm looking for it to go 10% down from yesterday's close. A bit of a change to how I would usually get out of these.
Okay, 37.80 right now on GameStop. We'll wait to see if that's going to be our blow-off spot there. We are now short. We waited very, very patiently again, like a sniper there on GameStop. So let's just wait to see how far this one wants to go down. We're already 3 for 4 for 4. We're going to see if we can go a little bit more right now as we go short on GameStop. We've taken out 40% already. We got 36 short. We took them out in the 80s and in the 70s, and now we're going to the downside. Here we go, GameStop. Here we go. Let's see how low we want to go. A big win. Neil, we've got it again, man. I mean, this is the cash cow. It just keeps on going for us. Let's just see how far down we want to go right now with this play on GameStop. We are short right now, 36. Going to give it up to 37 and change, but we're now out of half of this trade for that 40 cents. And yeah, normally I don't take 40 cents on these kind of plays, but let's just wait to see. Like yesterday, $4. I don't think we get $4 today on a downward move, but we are short. Look at this. There's a little spot right there, 35.17. Wow. I mean, this is what it is. Close your eyes, man, because right now we just 41s right here. We are just like running the market today for some reason. A downside on GameStop. Look at this play on WFC. We're out pretty much of everything. We have 10% left of WFC. BlackBerry finally said it right. Look at this trade, guys. Like in here, in, out, all the way to the upside. Big time trade there. And then GameStop, I don't need to tell you more about that. That's another 80-cent win. So yeah, the money bags are here. Oh, guess what, guys? 3 times now, daily goal. 3 times. And it's going to be more than that if GameStop continues to make the move to the downside. Oh, ho-hum, 80-cent win right now on GME.
Oh, just got flat. You said 41 on GME, but you meant like 41 as the pennies on the dollar. And that like threw me off, way off, because I actually thought that's the high of the day. So I'm managing a few more stocks than maybe usual at the same time at 10 o'clock, guys. But 4 even just came down on Chara. So Mr. Washington, whatever, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's still a good player, but this stock is not necessarily as good as it was about half an hour ago. If it breaks 4, fair enough. I just took it all out. It was a 4.95 short. We added to the it was a 5.12 short that we added to at 4.95 to the downside when 5 even broke. So it's around a buck move. It's a little bit more than normal, but it's a $5 stock that I thought had more room to go to the downside. BNGO, the turn did come, and it wasn't at $10. It was at $9.50. It is looking a little bit weak, but watch out for this 8.15 to 8.20 area. This was the first pullback. It's going to have to break through this if it's going to be a continuous short through that price. Wolf, the second half on Petco, will be out on a 29 break, and I'll basically be close to break even on that one. Not doing a heck of a lot. But BNGO, watch out for some strength here at that 820 level. Looks like it's already bouncing. Brennan?
Market coming off here a little bit, guys. Just be careful. GM in New York just saw they're going to team up with Goldman Sachs and MasterCard to have a MasterCard, a credit card. So GM getting into the credit card business, they're not liking that. Just broke day lows there. $50 down to 49.5 for GM, guys.
Ooh, uh-oh. Okay, let's look back at Ford. I actually Ford now sub 10 as well. We actually put some GM in our longer-term portfolio the other day at about this level. So I wasn't going to get it out where we went to 52 or 53 yesterday. The market, the NASDAQ coming to the downside right now. I expect sort of a negative day today. There's a lot of worrisome efforts out there about the election, the inauguration day coming. I know that's not on the weekend, but there is some concern there. So I'm a little bit that the NASDAQ is coming down today, especially on a Friday. It's profit-taking time. The market's been at all-time highs, so this is no surprise to me. GME, so it's a winner, chicken dinner. I haven't hit that button in a long time. So The only thing is we're not going to let this turn into a loser. So nice outs there. We only have 20% left. We talked about that. I was 50% there. Then you had 50, 60, 70, 80, leaving us with that 20% now on GameStop. And yeah, let's just see if it breaks somewhere around here, I think. I was going to wait for 37.50, but that's going to be a little bit too much, even though I do have that 20%. So I think a 37 even out right now on GameStop is probably worth it. We could be really diligent and take a little bit out now, just in case it does go back upside. But the kind of day that we're having, we can afford to do this. It's not going to put us into the red or anything like that on GameStop. So we're still positive. Look at the market falling. So I think we have this one. We are out now of BlackBerry. Again, I have that 10% left of the year here. Again, you can add it all up. We have that 10 left. We're going to give it another shot up to VWAP. But if it does come back down and fail, we're going to get out of it. So it's been a monster day, and let's just keep it that way and make sure we protect some of our profits. Like here goes GameStop right up to 37. I'm going to give it to 37.50.
Sometimes we draw a little bit of a line in the sand. Things calm down a little bit over here. Back to normal on Sundial. Just taking the shorts when we can. I don't know why we always hear that so loud there. I kept saying it's too loud, that draw line in the sand. 75 broke. We just took out this pre-market level here at 673. I got more shares. I'm half out because of this cluster here at 72.5. The next leg will be 70. If it breaks that, who knows where it'll go. I would have liked it a heck of a lot better. This is at $1. Of course, it wasn't. Beggars cannot be choosers. You got to do what you got to do. 3D Systems, a 30 break. I just got the second third out here in front of 29, so it'll be about, it's not going to be $1 because it's, I got 92s on the break of 30 and I got it in front of 29, not on the back end. The next leg will be in front of low a day. I'm kind of anticipating it might put on a higher low, so we can get $1.50 on the last bit of that trade. That will be the goal on 3D Systems. One more to update you guys on, and this one will be the easiest one of them all because I don't think, I don't know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say JAGX. As long as we don't make a parabolic move off the 320 here, 320 likely to break. All my bids are below that. So when this little opening range bottom goes, I think we'll be falling for the rest of the day on JAGX. I'm short at 338 is an average price. I should have been adding at this 340 to 345 level, but I missed it at the open because a few too many stocks I was trading at the same time. Brendan, what's up?
We had a couple of those clean energy names moving right off the bat. That Polar Power still all-time highs for that. OPTT, another one, had a big move up to 308, but right back down below 3. I want to show you this one as well. Just popped up. Westwater Resources, big flush there from 5 down to 475 on a huge volume spike, guys. So some of the clean energy names still moving around.
So just an update there. We take Palantir, and I wish that I don't wish anything. I wish obviously we had more shares. We defend that VWAP. It comes back down, then it breaks it back to the upside, and we go long again. So we're embarrassingly long again at 27.06 on Palantir. Like, look where Palantir is going here on this move back to the upside. 45s, 46s. Wow. Wow, guys, just like what a great day this has turned out to be. I mean, we just bought this at 27. This is a 1-minute chart, so this is less than a minute later. We're in the money now, 40 cents on Palantir on this dip buy. And again, you got it like, we have an advantage here because we're using Day Trade the World. We're using a super fast, lightning fast system here. We could scalp in and out, and we have a great opportunity with the fee structure. We have a great opportunity with these names. We have shortable shares and everything. So I feel blessed to be here. So thank you to Day Trade the World, our #1 sponsor. Look into it if you're interested. But I mean, like this kind of a play, we let it settle down. It makes this bottom. Obviously, should have bottom picked that, but scrolling through stocks, we noticed that. We get aggressive on a 27 break. We take it, and now we're enjoying the upside of Palantir. It's struggling a little bit at 50, but let's just take a piece out. There it is again, 27.49. Like, and I talk about this all the time, and we're not gonna. I mean, as shots fired a little bit, but there are some people that have shows similar to this that don't show these executions. They don't show live level 2s. They don't take these trades, right? These are real trades. We're putting on trades here, and you can see the damage. Like, where are the losers here? Here's I keep saying Best Buy, but it's not. BlackBerry, that's a huge win. You can see the trades at the bottom. Just rewind the tape if you want. This is going to be a loser because it's going to break through 37.50, but it's only the last 20%. So we do give some back. Wish we didn't do that, but we do. Palantir, this is a long that we took right off the open. Again, that's true. It does go against us. Then we take this break, this high break, 26.40 that we talked about. I gave that out to you in the middle of the day, or in the middle of our opening show. And there it is here on the sticky note. Where is it? There it is, 26.50. So, okay, it's at 27.50. And then WFC, I'll go right back to the sticky note again because, hey, maybe I'm not telling the truth. There's WFC right there, 32.70. I just got out, man, 32.11. So a good trade here. Everything working for us except for GameStop, Neil, as it does take out that 37.50. We flush ourselves down the toilet for that one, but it's one of these kind of days. Let's just keep the profit going. Mr. Wonderful in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to hit the key for it, but I'm going to go to the level 2 because you mentioned the word level 2. Who else is going to show you level 2? And if there's a reason, I could easily say to you, rewind the tape, talk about every single level and trade that we were looking at on Potash, or sorry, on Poshmark. Why did I say Potash? On Poshmark. That's interesting. But I liked 95 short. The liquidity wasn't there. There's no way you were actually getting that trade. And then 91 level, it broke through 91 and then fell like a rock. And just no bid inside at 88.5. I was looking at 50 to 60 cent spreads. I just saw people bidding, someone bidding like 5,000 shares out of nowhere. That literally caused the stock to just tighten up the spread and move like $1 at a time. This is a crazy one to trade. I'm going to stay away from it. I think if you're going to be looking at, keep saying Potash. If you can be looking at something, Petco, certainly a more reasonable trade here. It's flat on the session. I didn't get this reload at 29 even. I'm going to above that price now. We did get the scalp on the first half, that 29.5. But now what I want to do is just sort of sit on the bid, be able to take some shares here, and then move my stop up to like a 29 area on Woof. So back into some long on Petco, and I'll do some scalp trading, like 30, 40, 50 cents at a time if I can, using 29 as a floor. Brendan.
Another one that was moving in the pre-market that I couldn't really come up with any kind of catalyst for, but Sens here, 63%. Guys, we're right at 2. There's a big offer that keeps refreshing at 2. So if that does break, just a heads up, if you're watching this, Sens could go for you to the upside. But 65%, all kinds of volume on Sens as well.
It's weird. I actually had typed that into the chat. I'm like, I'm staying the heck away from this one because it looks entirely too strong. My last trade was a 180 break, and now you're getting that $2, which is testing. There is some size in the level 2. When it's done 100 million shares or close to it, that is not that big. If we were talking about 1 million shares on the offer, I'd be a little bit more interested in scalp trading. I'll let this one break and then see what happens when it goes through that price. If it's a hard turn and a fail break, then I'll come jump back in below 2 even. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Sends way, way too strong. And I wanted you guys to be able to see that level 2. Brennan mentioned Pola. It just pulled back. I like the bounce off VWAP here. I get a parabolic, or you see a parabolic move like that, and I'm going to be looking at 1350 for a consolidation short off of maybe a 65 to 70 area, not to the high of day because that's too far away at a buck. But if it can hold around this level, I'll be looking for a retracement on Pola at some point. 29 has not yet broken on Petco, but it could, and I'll be getting out of my long. So all my shorts in the money, but the long on Petco looks like it might lose if 29 breaks.
Maybe I talk about my family too much on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever, but I don't really care. Here they are right now, skating. It's a PA day. So here in the TDSB school board. So yeah, they're not skipping school, Miss Jones. They are here waiting and skating. Apparently it's pretty busy, but they got a nice little, so they have, I think it's like 20 people allowed per rink right now. So that's them. And I'm really proud of my man because he's quite the hockey player. He's 8 and he's definitely teaching his little sister here how to skate, and she's quite the athlete too. So definitely looking out for that. Shout out to my wife. Thank you for bringing them there. And on a day like today, and just in general, guys, get out and get some exercise. Like, you can't be stuck at home. I know we have a stay-at-home order here in Ontario, but you got to get, especially the kids, you got to get everybody out there to enjoy everything. Palantir, like, wow. I'm just super impressed with the way this one's been moving. You know, we buy the dip. We didn't even buy the dip there. I mean, this was a dip, but we were waiting to get aggressively long. And then we buy it again through 26 and change. Now we go to the upside, and we just took some out at 50. This is my play, man. In at 27, out at 50. Like, I do that all the time. So no surprise that we're doing that. We hold that 10% left. And screw you, GameStop, to be honest with you. We picked the exact out there, and look what happens. Right back down. We would be now in the money. So as long as you weren't overly aggressive like I was on the out there, that's a good trade still. So here comes breaking back down through 36. I think there's another opportunity to crack this. I'm going to go short one more time through 36 on GameStop and just see if it gives me this bat out one more time. I think this is worth it. Maybe a short through 37 also. Let's start to average it. If I get 37s, we'll take it on GameStop, guys.
Oh, So I don't know if we mentioned Virgin Galactic today. Of course, we've talked about it all week, but I did write something down, this 30.90 level yesterday, and I wrote this down in the afternoon for myself. I didn't think it would come into play because we looked like we were opening much higher than this and looked relatively strong. It's just breaking through 31 here. It flushed through that 31.90 price, sorry, 30.90 price. If it takes it out again, and this is nothing against Virgin Galactic, I mean, it's just a momentum short. I'm going to be shorting through that 30.90. Certainly, if I took it the first time, I'd be sitting here with it like 5-10 cents against me. Sometimes the second time is a charm, but I had it written down because I like the level. So I'm going to get into Virgin Galactic if I can to the south side, 30.90. It's coming back off that the positive news that's being added to, or that new ETF, the ARC Space ETF. So space going into this Space ETF. I promised I wouldn't say that. If you are tracking Posh, it is catching a bid at 90 even. There was some size bids around that price, so there is a little bit of support there. I'm still staying away from it, but it might have made its bottom still below yesterday's low, which was 91. I think if it breaks that, it's probably a bit of a better play. Just to come back over to Sundial, I thought this would be a heck of a lot more active on this 75 break. It's consolidating lower. Still no real gigantic flush on this name yet. If it gives me a retrace into 75, I'll likely get back into some more shares. But so far, so good. Shorting that name, I usually wait for it to run out of steam before I do anything crazy in Sundial. There is Woof. Petco breaks that 29, so I get out. It's a mixed result for me. It's now taking out some of those lows. We talked about, whoops, go the other way here so you can see on a higher, so you can see yesterday's action. There we go. It was 27 even that, kind of thought no chance we'll get there, but just in case, let's be ready for it. It's screaming to the downside. I'm expecting for sure 26 will have a bid. We talked about this because it was the open price, but 27 is the other level I'm going to be watching here as Petco starts to come to the downside. It's already down $2 from the top of today. Let's see if it goes any further. I like that 27 buy.
We just took it out for a little bit of profit there. We went long at 28. So now we're long Wolf at 28 right now. We just took some out at, what price was that? 28.22 for a 20-cent win. Looks like it's trying to break down below now. So watch out for Wolf on the downside right now of a break of 28. We are now long 28. We talked about this earlier. This is where we wanted the long. I didn't want any shorts in here. Should have been short. I was looking long to see if we broke yesterday's high, but instead we'll wait at 28. It looks like it's going to break now. It does break. So it breaks back down through 27. We'll take some off at 27.75, but then we will hold a little bit just to see if we can get back going. If we can get going back to the upside here on Wolf. Again, look at the spread. Like, I'm long 28. I mean, this is not even, it's 28 right now. So not a big deal, but we did already take 20 cents off of only 20% of our trades. So this will be a loser. Obviously, if we do break that down below the 75, we'll get out. With the spread, though, I don't know if I'll get out. I don't even know how many pennies I'm crossed down, but I'm looking to defend that 26 from that 26 from yesterday. 27.40 is not a bad level either. We had some clusters there, so I think we can get some bids downside, 27 and change, but let's just wait to see what does happen right now. We just got out of our Palantir as that came crashing. Where's Palantir? That came crashing back down to the downside. So big trade for Palantir. We were holding our last 10% there, and then it comes down. I think it was 20% actually. Yeah, 20, 40, 60, 80. Get in and get out. So a winning trade for sure, but we did let that one go a little bit too far against us. Let's see if Wolf now, though, Neil, can get back up. It does protect that 28 level.
Yeah, and we sometimes even the even dollar levels, I don't know if we said this. We talked about the levels from the day before in an IPO because the first day is all you have to go with. If it goes through the low of the day, you start thinking about previous fundraising prices and what the valuations would have been at those. I did quickly try to explain as fast as I could why I like this price range on Virgin Galactic as the short side. I did take it when it retook that 30.90. It's in this cluster here, right in the middle of this chop range. Low of the day was 30.65. I just got some shares out to quickly scalp 25 cents in front of it. It looks like we're attempting to break through the low of the day. 30.50 goes. I'll look to 30 as an ultimate target over in Virgin Galactic. I'll have to update a couple of these small cap positions. One I know you guys have been asking about that I haven't touched. I think Brendan's going to talk about here in his small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll discuss a few small caps we were talking about in the pre-market. We'll start with this one. OBSV up more, it was way more than 50% when we got up to the highs, but a couple things to know. This was very obviously strong in the pre-market going into the open. So just going back over price action that I was kind of sitting there watching, there was a buyer down here, 40 to 50, that kept stepping up and taking shares off of the offer. So that's point number one. When you start seeing buyers at the open lifting it back up towards prior levels from the pre-market, every indication to get out of a short if you do have a short. But my mistake, or something that I need to really start doing better, is this is a great long. Why not? We're making higher highs and higher lows all the way out through, the pre-market. Takes out the pre-market high on volume after the open. Why not be long there for an easy 50-cent trade? Comes back down, though, retakes that significant level, fails to get back above it. Nice short down to 350 again. So OBSV, very tricky this morning. All kinds of liquidity and volume, but a tricky one. This one as well, GameStop, all over the place this morning. 40 was the level from yesterday. So, gave you a quick short off of the open there. Stuffs right back up through 40 to 40.75. So I'm fine getting stopped out there because we went so far beyond that level. 40.75 was the actual top. Retakes the level again. Same thing as we just talked about. Gave you a trade. And then that last little bounce there that Sean was walking you through as well. Back to the downside. So a couple of opportunities in GameStop today. Last one, the CHRA, by far the weakest of the group this morning. This 550 level. Support, breaks, resistance. The rest is history. 380 now from 550 on CHRA. Guys, back to you.
All right, I just got to make sure that if we do have to cross down here on WOOF, we do have a decent order to get out if it does break down. So it does break. We get out there a little bit. We're still holding a small. We were able to get another out there. I don't know if you saw that. We were able to get more out there, so we do take a decent amount. We're holding that 10% now. We did take a decent amount out there as we saw that it struggled how many times there? 1, 2, 3, 4 times at 28.20 there. That's the new Petco IPO. So we did test along. We took out 20 cents there, and then we lost 40 on that 10%. We lost 40 on that, another 50 on that 10%. Now we're holding the last little bit here. I'm going to take some 26.50s. I looked at yesterday's, if I can get it, yesterday's, where was 26.50? It's hard to see because of this, but it's right here, 27. It's this bottom. Neil talked about that in the pre-market a little bit. There's some 26.50 there, some support. Yesterday's IPO price was 26 even, so I think you could probably take a shot there. And I mean, WFC, Neil, looking like it wants to break 32. We've been hell trading this one. We only made one trade, but it's been a great trade. Probably my number one. Look, the most money I'm up today is definitely on Palantir, but WFC cruising along near highs as well for the day.
This is crazy on Wolf. Like, honestly, Sean, I just took a quick little break to the bathroom. I covered myself with a stop order because I talked about this yesterday. It doesn't matter the level of risk. If you have a rule, stick to it. I have a stop. If 27 breaks, because I knew I was sitting on the bid and going to get it in position. I didn't think this would happen so fast, and thank goodness there was liquidity when 29 broke, because this is falling like a rock. I'm now long at 38s. Virgin Galactic, again, you'll see short positions or take positions that might go against our personal opinions on a stock, so take this with a grain of salt. I am short here on the 3090. It was just a simple situation where you had a couple of catalysts. There was a breakout at 27.50. It went all the way up here. That's a nice 20% move to the upside on a return. We called that swing like over and over again. And then the second catalyst, of course, the ETF. Now you're going to sell back off. I like that 3090 area. I just got shares out in front of 30 even, so we'll have, I don't know, we'll go Superman on that one because I can't really hit to the moon because it's coming down. We just bounced off of 30. If it breaks this price, I'm going to look to see if I can't hold last little bit. Not a break-even stop. I actually am going to allow this one to go back to 31 even because I was shorting 30.90. So it'll be a small, maybe 10 to 15 cent loss if this comes all the way back in Virgin Galactic. Sundial just ran into a big bid at 70. I do still have that 75 short. If it breaks through that, I'll get the last quarter up below that 75 on the way down to 70 even. But a little bit of a bounce happening in space off of 30 even here.
You know who I bet likes the pet space? I bet you Mr. Wonderful likes the pet space. I think there's a lot of opportunities here. And again, Kevin O'Leary, if there's catalysts, I believe that he's going to like this spot for that. And also maybe a bank stock, WFC today. Look, we sniffed that one out early, man. I mean, this was a short basically at 9.49 on this low of the day break here of 62.69. It was an absolutely fantastic trade, roughly a little bit above VWAP right there at that time. prime, or below, sorry. Nice short at 32.69. We've emptied it all out, right? And this is the thing. Like, we're not going to hold on to things for too long. We're going to get in, we're going to get out. We're going to take advantage of scalping. That's what we're doing here. It's day trading, scalping through. It resisted that 32 break, but man, this is a big trade for me today. Short 32.70 all the way down to 32, and we're scalping back and forth and in and out of these names. So that's been a big trade. Palantir, good long, early, 26.50, 26.40, all the way up here to 28. And again, like, look at all these executions. We're taking risk off. And I just think that that's a super important thing. If you want to hold something for a longer term, that's fantastic. But here, look at all these executions. This is like 30 executions on Palantir alone. So I definitely like that space. And then again, back to Petco right now. We're holding that level. We're still a little long at 28. We did dump some here, 27.50. I'm still looking at that IPO price. And then the only loser we have on today. So we're going to go 5 for 5, but we got to talk about our losers, right? We don't just talk about the winners. You got to go both ways on these. And then, honestly, just a horrible out, to be honest with you, on GameStop. We shorted it here on that break. We took an $11 winner 2 days ago, $4 winner yesterday. We noticed this 36 is going to break. It does break. Our best out there, 35.25. But then look, again, being conservative, little too conservative, comes back up to 37.50, breaks it, we get out, and then it goes all the way back down to the downside there. So we miss out on GameStop. But look, Kevin O'Leary coming in 2 minutes. I know we got a lot of questions for him. It's going to be an exciting interview, and it's been an exciting day so far. I'm really happy to kick off the long weekend with yet again a very, very profitable day for us here, Neil. It's been a good one, and it's been an exciting one. What else is new?
It's about to get better, but as you said there, we have lots of questions for Kevin when he comes on. He's been a great friend to the show and a lot of fun when we have him. But I'm going to throw this out there. If you guys have any questions for Kevin, hopefully maybe towards the end we can get those to you live on air. So do not hesitate. Do not be shy. If you have something you want to ask Mr. Wonderful, we'll try to see if we can't get that through. I was sort of under my breath saying find a bid. I was talking about Petco. I did get this 27.38 long. I was waiting for it in front of that 27 bid. Now, that 38 is basically where the bottom was yesterday, but I was using the even dollar from this pullback. This was like the long off the open. I got out of everything in front of 28 when we took that 26 long, when we all took that 26 long off the open price. But this dip buy was a strong move holding 27, snapping back. And then the afternoon, 27, like 30, and then 30 to 40 or so was that chop range where it bounced. That's why I took the long at that particular price there. It just can't seem to catch a bid. I took a 50-cent scalp. I'm trying to get some more shares out of 28 and see if we can't hold the rest of it. But we've been waiting for it patiently. Now is the time. Let's go to Brennan. We have our guest of the day.
We don't want to keep him waiting. Guys, Chairman of O'Leary Financial Group, Kevin O'Leary. Mr. Wonderful back with us once again. We appreciate your time as always, Kevin. I want to jump right into things here. Before we get your forecast of what to expect going into this year, let's take a second maybe and have a look backwards as far as investors are concerned. What are the important lessons that we need to take away from a year that was 2020 on all scales going into the new year as far as investors are concerned?
Well, you know, what's incredible about 2020, given the incredible volatility that started around March 7th, is the majority of the gains on the year happened in 19 trading sessions. Some sessions as high as 11% up. Some as down 8%. The market was crazy wild in March, April, May. So if you weren't in there at some point, if you weren't exposed, you missed out on a phenomenal year. And you can trade around positions, but sometimes you have to have a core holding batch of equity because you want to catch those 8-hour trading sessions where you get 11% move. And so it makes it harder to time the market when you have that kind of volatility. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of that this year because of all these cross currents occurring with stimulus and all the rest of this. But the big headline from last year was interest rates remain benign, but that is not going to be the case this year.
And they've already come out and said that, no rate increases are coming for the foreseeable future. So possibly, by the end of the year, could we see something change in that sense?
Well, the Fed can say whatever it likes, but the bond vigilantes, particularly around the 10-year, they can do whatever the hell they want. You saw the 10-year go through 1%. My prediction is that it's going to end the year at 2%. So 100% increase on that just from the bond vigilantes. And that really doesn't affect your anything about equities, because equities don't get hurt until you can trade a 10-year at 3%. That's when guys take money off the side and park it in a treasury risk-free, make 3% a year. They don't care about 1 or 2%. But we're not going to get that next year. But the point is, anything with long duration, any kind of like a utility stock, that's going to suffer as rates slowly go up. And the reason they're going to go up, even though the Fed keeps its hand steady, which they've said they're going to, is that people are watching $2 trillion fall from the sky from a helicopter, and that basically is inflationary at some point. It's, money for nothing and chicks for free for the next 3 months. They're pouring money into the American economy like they've never done. This new $1,400 check plus another $400, that goes straight into people's pockets and in many cases into the market. So you're going to see a lot of volatility.
And I want to make sure we reiterate that point that you made initially. Is there a number, as far as the percent number is concerned, that we should have in cash to be able to take advantage of some of these opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're, you have your core holdings because you don't want to miss the big up days. And as we just talked about last year, that happened across 19 days, which is really concentrated. But I like to have, when I know I'm going to be going into volatility, up to 20% in cash to take advantage of really big down days. So you can sprinkle a little, if you get a big correction, as we saw happen in the energy sector last year, and you put some money to work, you've had a hell of a rebound there. Now, maybe you're taking it out of there again because we just saw the bad news coming out of Exxon, the whistleblower story, Biden saying he doesn't like hydrocarbons. So you got to be nimble. You got to be nimble. But I like 20% cash in a vol year like we're about to have.
So give us, you've already mentioned a couple, but give us your thoughts. What group, what area of the market should we be focused on that maybe might be under the radar a little bit at this point?
Well, one thing you got to think about when you're talking about a 10-year moving from 1 to 2%, or even it goes up to 175, what's your inflation hedge? Are you a gold guy? Are you a Bitcoin guy? Do you like other cryptos? What are you doing to trade inflation? Because you got to have a strategy. And so, maybe you play the GLDs. Maybe you go with Frank Holmes. He's got a couple of royalty-based Go AU. I mean, I own some of that too. But the point is, I like to be in a year like this, 5% weighted in gold. Now, a lot of people are talking Bitcoin, and that's interesting too, because it continues, to go. I think it's about 800 billion, almost $1 trillion market cap. The only issue, because I know we're going to talk about Bitcoin, let me lay something on the table for you got to consider. There's a lot of talk that institutions are endorsing Bitcoin. That's not exactly true. I'll give you an example. The big story last year in Q4 was the PayPal trade. The idea that PayPal was now taking Bitcoin as a currency to actually purchase product. But what they're doing actually is immediately mark to market. Bitcoin comes in, that split second, they turn it back into USD. They take no risk on Bitcoin. They are not going long Bitcoin. They're not endorsing Bitcoin. They're just allowing it for you to trade it on their platform back into cash, because every vendor that sells something on there wants it in US dollars. The other myth is that somehow a big money center bank like a Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan is telling clients to buy Bitcoin. There is I can't find a single discretionary fiduciary. In other words, you're running grandma's, $1 million portfolio. You're putting her 5% weighting in Bitcoin. That is not happening. Where there's discretion, they're not taking that risk because the regulator hasn't made a ruling. Not in Germany, not in Europe, not in England, not in Switzerland, not in China. And so the risk you would have is if you have somebody in 5% on a discretionary basis in Bitcoin, and all of a sudden the regulator steps on it and you get a 30, 40% correction, you're part of that class action suit. So be very careful in the assumption, because everybody in the Bitcoin world, the Kryptonians, the Bitalorians, they're all telling you that this is now a mainstream institutional product. No, it isn't.
Let's approach this from a little bit of a different angle then, Kevin. You've made your opinion on Bitcoin, very well known in the past. Is there a way that we might be able to get exposure to this market, cryptos in general, from an equity standpoint that we need to be aware of?
Well, the big one that people are waiting for is the Coinbase IPO. And that's going to be interesting because it's the first big infrastructure into crypto. And the talk of the town is it's going to be another hot IPO. The only risk, because that will be a pure equity play, the only risk is that it's going to be highly correlated to one currency, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, unfortunately, even though people talk it up as an alternative to the market, as a counterweight to the market, it's highly correlated to the market. When the market corrects, Bitcoin corrects even more. So we haven't seen that alternate, sort of bias. In other words, go long Bitcoin when the equity markets are correcting. So what I anticipate will happen is you're going to get the Coinbase trade. It's going to come out. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be volatile as hell. And because it's going to have market volatility and Bitcoin volatility, because none of the other currencies over the last 3 years have made a difference. Nobody cares about them. Bitcoin's the trade.
I want to get your thoughts on the EV space here before we get into some more fun topics. Before we let you go here, Kevin, we've seen Apple come into the space. We've seen Baidu now come into the space saying that they are also going to develop an EV product of some sort. There seems to be endless SPACs coming in the EV space. I mean, everybody knows about Tesla. Where else should we be looking?
I think battery technology, Elon is going with lithium. Others are talking hydrogen. I think battery is the whole story. There's also the consideration, is lithium going to become a scarce commodity? There's lithium mines in Canada. These are all the big issues of the day around EV. EV's here to stay. EV market share will continue to grow. Tesla's, in my view, fully valued. I mean, that thing is valued beyond a car company. It's a data company. It's a tech company. It's a battery company. It's a solar company. It's everything. And maybe that's okay. But at the end of the day, there'll be lots of other SPACs going into EV. And every single car company, if it wants to stay in business, is going to have to do something in EV. And I think the play on EV, and even the Apple play, if you think about it, because all of the talk of Apple going into EV is, it's us in Canada. It's Magna. Who's going to supply all the parts for all of these different players? So the way I look at it is, if you want to get into EV at a decent multiple, you just go long some Magna and see what happens. Now, they're having a change at the top. Don Walker's checking out. New guys are coming in, but that's okay. Walker did a fantastic job in that company in the last few years. But to me, that's your baseline hold on EV, because you're not going to pay some stupid multiple, and Magna's profitable.
And an amazing run into the end of the year Magna had as well. Great stuff, Kevin. We'll bring in Sean and Neil here to talk about some more topics.
Sure.
Hello, Kevin. How are you, my friend? And welcome back to Trader TV Live. Seems like you're having a good day as we are here, about to enjoy the long weekend. And I know, you know what? We always say money doesn't sleep, and I'm sure that you have some plans this weekend as well. I wanted to talk to you about a quote that you made, and I think that you're prepared for this on CNBC. If we can throw it up on the screen, I'll just let everybody see what this was here. I have no problem with day trading, but to me, you can go to Las Vegas or you can day trade, same thing. That's not investing, that's gambling. So, I understand what you're getting at, and to be honest with you, Kevin, I 100% agree with you. What we're doing here on the show is not investing, and I actually do preach, like you do, value. And you told me last show, cash flow. Is that better? I practiced that from the last time. And look, I've been getting people into, and again, I'm not an investment consultant or anything like that, but I liked JP Morgan, sub 100. I like some of those value plays. You mentioned ExxonMobil. But the thing about what we do here on the show, and that sort of what we take different from that quote, is we have plans of action. And I think as long as you're day trading and you're not trying to YOLO, which is one of those terms that all these young kids have, you only live once, and there's Reddit boards where people are just going crazy on some of these stocks. Neil and I really do preach risk management, and it's about having an idea of when to get in and then when to get out, right? And sort of basing your plan of action on that. I consider that very similar to investing. I know you want to put capital to work when it's necessary. What was sort of meant by that quote? And I'm not sure if you've watched too much of our show, but I really feel like with the education part, that's really key to day trading. And we tell people all the time, trade with paper money first, and then step into this wild, wacky world of day trading.
Well, that quote was all about my new initiative, and some of my fellow sharks are involved. Right. We're going into a big financial literacy cycle for the next 2 years. We were going to high schools before the pandemic, talking to 18 to 20-year-olds about investing long term. And then now we're doing it virtually. I'm doing virtual schools in New York and Texas, Florida, California. I'm trying to get kids to start thinking about their futures and putting something aside for their retirement. So my point about day trading, I got no problem with it. What I'm telling traders to do, including those listening right now, is every time you get a score, every time you get a win, you take 10 cents on the dollar and you put it into your long-term portfolio, your little nest egg. And I've been involved in O shares for years because I want to build my own indices. My core holding, and I trade stocks. I do very speculative deals on Shark Tank. I got 56 companies, and every time I sell one, I take 10% of the winnings and I put them into a basket of OUSA. OUSA is a subset of the S&P 500. It's the most boring ETF in the world, but it's got the most highest quality balance sheets. OUSA, which is the mid cap, same idea. OGIG, which are all my high tech flyers. It's an index. And OEUR, I'm starting to trade Europe now. So I take 10% anytime I get a win. They go into that core holding basket and I never touch it. Yeah. And they pay distributions, most of those ETFs. So I live off that and I pay for my expensive wife's renovations. The whole idea is that you need your base. Then you trade around it. But if you don't have a base and poo-poo hits the fan, you're screwed.
Yep. Kevin, you and I have more in common than we may even know, because I often talk about my wife's purchasing power, and it somehow outgrows my income power. So, yeah, we're on that one. I've made a small, and I agree with you, my largest holding in my account is Disney, and we are picking up those shares in March. And again, lots of capital to work there. I love Disney, and my second largest is Google. So I'm sort of with you on a lot of these. I do think you got to put some away. What I've done, though, last time, Kevin, so a couple times ago you roasted me because I was wearing my smartwatch, and man, was that a bad feeling. So I brought my first watch that you've seen already, the Breitling, the Chronomat, okay? But I did step in.
Very nice, but I brought some major bling because I'm in Miami, and I want to show you guys some watches.
I made a purchase as well, Kevin. I want to see your watches. Based on your advice, I took close to that 10%, and I stepped into the big boy realm here. So I actually got the new 41 millimeter Rolex Submariner there in black. Unfortunately, I don't have the pull to get the Kermit green, but I did get the black one. I'm loving this watch. And again, as you know, watches may be also a good investment, Kevin.
That 41 mil Mariner is already up in the aftermarket. So you've made money on that in a way that's going to continue to grow over time. I wanted to have some fun with you. Let's stay on the Rolex theme. I'm going to show you the hottest watch in the world right now in terms of appreciation in 2020. It is the Rainbow right here.
Hello.
Up about 300%. And what I like about it, it's outrageous. It's covered in rubies and diamonds. It's just despicable in terms of what this thing says, but this is a great investment. Number 2 in the world right now, staying on the bling theme, the Eye of the Tiger.
Ooh.
Now, the only one in the world with a red band. This is a Rolex Daytona Eye of the Tiger. This is it, the only one.
Kevin.
This is also very, very valuable. But I want to show you something crazy.
Kevin, those are all diamond studded, my friend. This is...
I know, but I'm telling you, who knew I'd go bling? I've gone bling. And I'm
this
having
is
so
very,
much fun
very
in
impressive.
Miami. You walk around with bling, and all the women come up to you and say, "Can I have that watch?" It shouldn't be on your wrist. That's a woman's watch.
Kevin, we're going to get in trouble with the wives here. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be coming out with a rap video soon or something like that. These watches are ridiculous. Congratulations.
Let me show you something crazy. Now, one of the hottest new trends in watches is to make the case out of a solid piece of sapphire.
Oh, my God.
And the companies that are doing that are selling them between $150,000 and $800,000. Along come these two dudes in Australia. They go to China. They go to the company that actually carves these cases and cut a deal of their own. And they bring out a new brand called, it's this amazing. This thing is called Ativa. And here is a solid piece.
What?
A solid piece of sapphire. It's got a tourbillon movement made in China. And this thing, the only one in the world with a red band, I'm telling you, it's the size of a dish. It's so big. You wear this on your wrist, people go crazy, but it's solid sapphire. Guess what? Instead of 800,000, they're making them for $5,000 US. How cool is that? So I'm going to give these guys a shout out. I'm doing something really big with watches. If you want to follow me, follow my Instagram at Kevin O'Leary TV. Watch what's about to happen. I'm going to do some crazy stuff with all the watch manufacturers. I'm having so much fun with this. It's crazy. I'm going to bring some really cool pieces, and some people are going to be winning them on my Instagram site.
Kevin, that's amazing. If you need me to help you promote anything, hey, look, I can take one of those watches and throw it on our social media as well.
Just go to my Instagram site and watch what happens. This is good. This is the kind of stuff I do for fun. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And look, you got to have sort of a passion. I know you have a few other ones as well, and it's amazing. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We do have some questions from the audience. Kevin, thanks again. I love my new watch, and I don't know if I can diamond stud this out or not, but I did have to move up the ladder to get this. So thank you for some recommendations. Those watches are impressive. I will follow you on Instagram, but only if you follow me. What's up, Neil?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll follow you back. What's your handle?
It's at Trader TV, Sean. I've been tagging you. Let's go back and forth, Kevin. I love it.
Okay, cool.
I'm just curious about this Eye of the Tiger. I mean, you actually wear that one in public, people would lose their minds on that bad boy. That's got to be my pick. Kevin, we have some questions here. Oh my goodness! Don't do that to me. I'll be staring at my program monitor instead of talking to everybody here. We have a lot of questions to get to, and we're gonna go with one here because I know you're busy, and hopefully maybe we can have you on again to get some of these other ones. But from Don't Know 443 is one of our viewers here. Mr. Wonderful, what do you think about COVID stocks in 2021, specifically e-commerce and teledoc? I think maybe telehealth in general, but I think teledoc. I think a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah, I think the trends of the whole move to e-commerce, these incredible lifts. If you saw Nike's numbers, they're almost at 50% direct-to-consumer worldwide, and they thought that would take them 6 years. They did it in 5 months. So any name that is empowering, I'll give you some that are really, I think, can continue to move. Everybody knows the Shopify story, the DocuSign story, the Zoom story. They just did a secondary for $1.5 billion. They're probably going to become the standard like Kleenex is for we're using Zoom right now. All of these names, CrowdStrike, JD.com, Wix.com, I own them all in an index called OGIG that I had a hand in designing. But those are the names that are going to continue. It's not stay at home anymore. It's work from anywhere, because 15% of people are not going to go back to the office ever. And so this is what's powering this new digital America, digital Canada, digital Mexico, digital Europe. It's all of this technology.
So that OGIG, I mean, I don't know if you make any alterations to the lineup there. I don't know if you'd love to come back on and talk about any updates that you might have to those low shares. But
listen, I love coming out with you guys. We have some fun. We should do it on a routine basis. It's just too much fun.
Honestly, that's what I'm talking about. But I got to say this with Sean. I told my wife to tune in. She has the day off today, and thank you very much for blinging it up, because you're going to cause trouble for us. Going to have to make some...
You know what I think your wife should do? Tell you to buy her an Eye of the Tiger. My wife is trying to steal my Eye of the Tiger. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I can promise you that's going to happen now. So thank you so much. We'll try to get, when you get you back on, we'll have a few more questions for the audience. I absolutely promise. I know you guys want to do more, but Kevin, I have to throw you back to Brennan. It's been an absolute blast as always. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you.
Kevin, real quick before we let you go, I want to reiterate that point you were making about watches in general, but you've said this and made comments on this in the past, how important it is to have something as a passion, maybe not as a job or even an investment, but something that you can do in addition to work just to keep life balanced, especially in this environment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's the yin and yang, something crazy on the side. And you know what I like about watches? It's expanded my contacts all around the world. I've got a huge collection now. The largest collectors on earth are the royal family of the United Arab Emirates and the Saudi government. So now I have all these friends over there, people that are part of the royal family talking about watches because they see me talk about it all over the internet and on CNBC and everything else. And I've actually got into deals with some of these guys now because, they have the largest watch collections in the world. And the reason you want for watches for men is you appreciate in value. You can buy this or not, it's free. It's Chrono 24. It's an app. You download it on your phone. You put your watches in it. And every night it gives you the mark-to-market value of the last trade globally of your watch. And so I'm up 113% year over year on my collection.
That is a fantastic resource and a fantastic app. I actually have it on my watch. Kevin O'Leary, always a pleasure, sir. Make sure you come back and join us again.
Take care, my friends.
There we go, guys. Mr. Wonderful back with us once again, giving us a take on a whole bunch of different topics there, guys, which I think is really important that we, kind of reiterate the fact that you have to have something in addition to work, especially in this environment, with the pandemic, with everyone at home. We all need distractions, guys.
100%. That was
We did it again, guys. We did it
a heck
again.
of a lot of fun, guys. Obviously, it's good to have Kevin. I know there was a lot of other questions in there, and if we'd had him longer, we'll get to them. But as he said, he enjoys coming back on, so keep those filed away. A lot sort of happened. Well, a few things happened in the market while we were going. I didn't have a chance to quickly see here, but that this Petco made that nice little bounce. So we'll go and been waiting to use the power up. Finally gonna give it here. Talked about 27, the dip. It felt like a pie in the sky price level, and I did have a mixed result in my first long, taking it 29.50. Got the first half for a scalp. The second half reloaded back in front of 29 and lost in that trade. But 27 was the level I wanted to defend. That was a bid we had in it, 27.38. Got some out for the win in front of 85. Then got some on the north side of 28 for like the 80 cent win. And I just got the rest out when it tried to turn here. Stalled out, and this is the pre-market opening range bottom, 28.50. Once it failed at that price level, I said no more trailing stops in some of these long positions. I'll have a look manually. When it retook this level at 28.50, I just got out for the dollar win on the last of the position. So there we go. That was the first trade I wanted to have on Petco today. I did take another one, but this is the one I waited all day for here on Woof.
Yeah, Woof goes Petco there. We have Petco long as well. And look, I want to take the opportunity to thank Kevin O'Leary himself. You can follow me at Trader TV Sean on Instagram and at Trader TV Live. But look, I mean, it's 10 o'clock. It's almost 11 o'clock. I think we just had a fantastic interview there with Kevin O'Leary. We went back and forth. You're not going to see that kind of talk on other networks, that's for sure. 2.5K, so 8,800 likes right now. That needs to go, like, I think by the time we throw it to Valeria and then come back, this needs to be at 3,000. If you enjoyed that interview, you enjoyed some of those watches, those were crazy watches. But not only that, forget about Kevin O'Leary. It was great to have him on. I can't wait to have him back on again. But the show's just been fantastic. Neil with Wolf there today. We've had WFC. We've had a lot of big winners. Let's see if we can't get this to 3,000. And one way of doing that is always throwing to Valeria. So let's get Valeria on. And you know what, Valeria? Let's go. Let's get this to 3,000. Let's get this to 5,000.
Absolutely, Sean. And hey, guys, hope you enjoyed the interview. And we do everything best to do the show more valuable and interesting for you. So please support us back. Spend just 1 second of your time and hit thumbs up so we can get 4,000 of likes. Back to Sean.
Okay, so we're only at 2.8K right now. We'll check back in that in a second. But again, guys, thank you so much for all the support. It looks like we're going to get to 3K. Can we get to 3K? Let's maybe prematurely hit to 3,000 because I think that's going to happen very, very soon. Again, guys, thank you so much for turning that. There it is, 3,000. Thank you so
Woof,
much.
there it is. That's what I'm talking
there
about.
it is.
No,
Yeah,
woof, there it is.
Yeah, good call there, Neil. That was actually a good one.
I can't take credit for it because I looked over and I saw it in the chat. I didn't see who said it, but good look. Woof is the stock today that's on the move. And you guys getting us to that 3,000 mark. Come on, you know, the all-time hits leader is over 4K. That's what we like around here. So let's get past that number. It's not going to get much better than this. Only it kind of is because we actually have another guest coming up, which is going to be a fun one as well. I do want to go back to one other name here, if only because Sean killed it once. But I want to go back here. And it's not that I think there's going to be a guaranteed, here we go, a trade on Palantir. But if you look at this pullback it just put in, 2660, previous level, going back a few days. It's been a bit of a sort of pivot in terms of momentum, at least a few times. If it holds this bottom, watch out for the power hour run to end the week, or at least the afternoon run on Palantir if it can hold that level. That 2660 looks rather interesting. I'm kind of curious what you think about it, Sean, because you're the Palantir man. SENS is going to be the one that got away from me. 100%. This should have been hammer time. It was all over the short here. I actually said I got to get out of this at 180. It made the run to 2. Turn around at 95. Then you get the failed. This is what I was looking for. Failed break at an even dollar level where people go long on momentum and then it slams in their face. So you want to be in the other end of that trade when people are panicking. You want to have a reason to trade. And it would have been 95 in front of that same $2 level. And then we're now back at that 170. So we talk about this all the time. If you have things that are, your A+ trade, your A+ setup, the thing you do best, whatever it might be, it behooves you not to miss them. I missed that one on Sens today. I don't really have a good excuse for it, probably because of the Triple D and moving all over the place. Virgin Galactic was one I didn't expect to be trading today, and then all of a sudden got an entry point that I really liked, and then was all over this Sundial, which is doing absolutely nothing, but it's still a winner. But I expected more out of it. I should have been over in Sens instead.
All right, guys. Yeah, again, thank you. I want to give a big shout out to both my parents also watching, and a big shout out to my dad. And look, if you weren't so strong with my life, I wouldn't be doing this right now anyway. So thank you so much to everybody. Let's just move forward there. Very, very proud of what this show has done. And thank you to all the viewers as well. What we're doing here is something special. Okay, WFC to the downside now, 32.60. Looks like we could, I don't know. I mean, we're looking at 32. That could fall down a little bit further. We've already emptied out our stash on this, man. So we're already clean out of WFC, but we do have that small 10%. We're going to wait to see what it does. Oh, here we go. Weed Batman in the building again. So let's go over to Tilray real quick here. It's the problem is it's my Italian emotions that always get involved there. I apologize for that. Down to 20. Oh, okay, Neil. While we were talking there with Mr. Wonderful, I don't think he has a strong opinion against cannabis stocks. We could have talked about that, but it did break 20. I was wondering if Tilray held that 20 top there, and it didn't today. So look, and again, I mentioned to my father, we talked about being into weed, which is CGC here. Coming off right now, look, I think that this was buy the rumor, sell the news. And it's been such a big movement up here for some of these cannabis stocks, as we'll look at the daily chart for CGC. This was just $24 about a week and a half ago. And then you move all the way to the upside now, 35, 36. Probably, if you want to take some off, you could. I don't know what legislation is going to pass exactly. But again, there's a lot of talk here about cannabis and the Democrats and where it's going. So if you're holding for a longer term play, I'm not sure. Wolf on a daily chart looks like nothing because it just IPO'd, but there it is. We did dump some off there. We just got a little bit out here before 28. Neil, looks like it's breaking through that 29. I think this is worth a play again here. What is this? 29.05. Let's go long if it breaks through 29 again and just test it back through VWAP. We'll give it back to about 28.50. So a 29 break on Wolf, I think, is worth it once more.
And sometimes I say this, I know I say it too much probably. Sometimes your best trade is a trade you don't make, yada, yada, yada. It wasn't, that's not the case here with Posh, because I did want to short Poshmark today. I talked about the relative weakness. I think it's not that you should not, if you don't believe in a stock or you don't like the business model, you think it's overrated or overvalued, doesn't mean you automatically shorted it in a day trading standpoint. But there was sort of an obvious 95 level that just unfortunately didn't have a lot of liquidity. It was a difficult trade to take. It then broke through that low of the day, flushed, again, no liquidity. It came right back up. At that point, I had decided I don't want to trade the stock today just simply because of the lack of liquidity. That would have been another good short when it came back to 91. So at some point, like DoorDash just might make a bit of a bottom. I don't know where that's going to be. I'm just going to wait. And if I see, like we did on DoorDash, and if I can, I'll quickly go over to the chart here on Dash so you can see what I'm talking about here. That 140 bottom, it's actually better to see on the daily chart. That 140 for multiple days, it was an iceberg buyer after it had come off, actually about like 25% or so, maybe a little bit less than that. I'd call it like a 20% pullback in just a few sessions. If you see that same thing start to happen over there on Posh, then I'm going to be all over not just taking it if it breaks to the downside and for a scalp trade, but then just grab the long in front of it, whether you're swing trading. If you actually wanted to own the stock, just wait for that to happen because a decent chance at some point it's going to level off. It currently looks like it's being sold off. It was a 42 price, I want to say, on Posh, and then we're trading at still 2 times that despite the pullback here.
Okay, sorry, that was Posh, Neil, you're talking? Yeah, okay. Posh, we missed Posh. We could look at a firm again maybe in a second. Tesla battling back a little bit. Let's just quickly check Tesla. It's funny because I've been trading NEO a lot in the last 3 or 4 months, the last year, let's just call it like it is, and haven't looked at that today, and we will. It was down 4 or 5% on a Citigroup downgrade or mention lower there. So we'll find out more about that. Yeah, Tesla is not interesting to me. Not really moving. There's not much to do here. NEO, we will throw to Valeria in a second with European. Okay, so that was a beautiful bottom down there. Made some moves. Ooh, we are right near VWAP right here. 58 break of NEO. I'm going long through NEO 58. If that happens while we're at Valeria, you know that I'll be going long there. 58 break on NEO. But she's ready and we don't like to keep her too long. Valeria at the big screen.
Hey guys, European shares are mostly in a negative territory. Coronavirus rates on the region. Spain is down 2.01%. France is down 1.61%. Germany is down 1.75%. and Britain is down 1.34%. British IT firm Aveva is up almost 8% after a positive trading update. Back to Neil.
I just put this in the chat, and I think, I had a lot of positions off the open today. Try to trim it down, but I mean, every single one I took, I don't think there was a single position I had that I didn't actually like or that didn't fit my plan. But Lemonade 154, we've been talking about this one for a few days now. Regardless of the Citron report, which again is a negative catalyst, I think that short seller report. If you don't get a bounce off of that, usually on day 2 after that report comes out, and you saw that with maybe NEO and some of the other ones, you're likely to run into some weakness. I like that 154 break. It did give you that little push up into the open, into also 157. It's even crazier than that because I had 158 written down as well, like the previous close area, and then it failed right at that price. So there's like 2 shorts that I missed, even the retake of 154, so 3 opportunities. And then we're right down to like this 145 area before it found any kind of a bounce. Actually went a little bit lower than that. So, Lemonade is one of those ones where it's not that whether you're shorting or not, it doesn't matter. It's just, I don't care what you believe or how much you believe in a stock. Sometimes when things dislocate a little bit and you get these parabolic moves to the upside, it's a little crazy not to take profit. That's sort of why we were talking about this one up at 180 for like multiple days in a row, that it was going to have a bit of a correction. It seemed obvious to me, and I love the stock. And I'm still actually going to be buying it when it comes to 100%. But Lemonade is what it is. You're not going to catch every single trade. You don't want to have that FOMO. You don't want to chase trades. You're not going to see me shorting Lemonade here at 147 just because I missed out on a great trade earlier. That's a bad way to go about business. Another one that I have not touched today, but I am going to be looking at right now is that OBSV. I know Brendan mentioned it. This is 1, 2, 3, and now 4 times it's coming up to 420. 4.25 is the high of the day. 425 is going to be a bit of a breakout point. The volume is still pretty good. But you know what I'm about to say next, I'm very likely to be short in front of it. So I'm looking at OBSV for a short play in front of maybe like 420 to 425 and then a breakout long at that same 4-quarter mark, guys. It just looks too good. It's been multiple times that level, but it is rather strong. So you better have a hard stop or plan of action to get out. Me, of course, is going to be that 425 mark.
Yeah, we do have an interview coming up very, very soon. I'm sorry, I apologize if we already just mentioned this one, but it's going to be a good one. And I'm excited about this company as well. It's in the right space, the right time. The parent company is what it's called. Michael Auerbach, coming chairman, was talking to us a couple weeks ago, and it's a good one. Uplisting today to NEO. Brendan's got that coming through, I believe 11:15. So we'll get ready for that one. And yeah, so we were talking about NEO there. It didn't break through 58. Look, we sniffed out that this was a short a little while ago. And not that I think that this is going to be a short for a longer period of time or anything, but for right now, NEO, it couldn't get going today. Generally, we buy some of these dips. If you protected this, that would have been okay. You wouldn't have got too burned, but then some consolidation upside, some consolidation at 58. And now I really like this bottom at 56. Let's just take a little bit of a longer look at that 56 bottom. Look at this gap. This is where we gapped up on NEO Day. Remember, that was actually last week. We had NEO Day and we were covering around 54. We gap up 57, then we gap up here to 66. So you still have some protection on the downside. So anybody long NEO, I don't think it's worth panicking or anything yet, but there is going to be some problems if we do break this gap back down to 54, guys. What's up, Brenda?
There was an alert there, guys, on BlackBerry. If you're trading or watching BlackBerry today, we did get a little pop to the upside there. They reached a settlement, apparently, with Facebook. So they had an ongoing dispute with Facebook. So apparently that has been wrapped up. So seemingly positive. We did get up to almost 11 again, but right back down still, though. 16.5%, guys, for BlackBerry.
Definitely a good look there. I just got into that OBSV here. It looks rather strong into that move, but I do have 17s as a price. I mean, could be better if I had like 19s or 20s, but that's sort of splitting hairs. I saw a fantastic quote. I'm going to just see if I can't use it here. Don't ever, Steve Granton, one of our Grantum, one of our members, don't chase the train that's already left the station. I love it for multiple reasons. One, because it sort of fits with what I was just saying there, and I think is very, very important in trading, not to get that sense of FOMO. But 2, because I have a personal rule of mine. I will never run for a train. I don't care if the subway is pulling away or like my commuter train is going and I'm going to miss it. I'm going to walk. Why? Because 1, I sort of feel like you should live your life and not feel that rushed. But 2, because I once pulled my hamstring in the winter chasing a train, and I, went down on the platform, and the doors were closing, and everyone got to see it. And I'm just not going to live that moment again. So I love that quote for multiple reasons. We'll see if I love this short in OBSV. If it actually breaks down to 4, I will start scalping it off between 4.10 and 4 even, and then the rest out in front of VWAP, because it's been too strong for me to think that this one is going to be the one in the home run. I just think VWAP is a reasonable return. If it gets anywhere close to it, I'll be basically all flat, and 425 is not only a stop, I'll probably reverse long as long as there's enough liquidity there. I saw some size in the offer, but it was not overwhelming.
Okay, Neil, then we have one of these. We should hit it for Neil, because remember the miss the bus? So this is
I was looking for that.
This is me running out after the bus. So I wonder if we should do one with Neil, and then he pulls his hamstring at the end.
So anyways, it's funny you should say that, because pull hamstring, there's a running joke among us, our high school friends, because let's just say the hammies were not very good when I was in high school. They're better now. I haven't had any issues back in the day, but I one time was literally rolling in the middle of a track in the 100 meters, grabbing like I had just been shot, and that was not the only time it happened to me. So it's a bit of a running joke about my hammies. They're good now, by the way. But here goes the OBSV, so maybe that was good luck. I'm going to use this one because I haven't in a while. Let's go timber action for OBSV. I wanted a 4 break. Where did that buyer just step up from? Every now and then on a level 2, it'll slam down, and then I'll just see someone pop a bid in, and then it'll randomly disappear. Looks like it disappeared here, so that's a good sign for me. And then, see, I hate that when that happens. It's looks like it's going down. The bid had just went away from 7, and then someone just buys it up through 2 levels. There's an order here at 10. I'm going to take some more off if it breaks that 10 range and probably goes to 12, just because of what I just saw there right now. But I still have some bids in front of 4. That's going to be the next target. And then from there, 385 to 390. But what I just saw in level 2 and that little 2-cent little market up there, that'll have me taking some more profit between 10 and 12 if it goes up.
Yeah, exactly. I still have the very, very small positions on right now. And again, I'm still looking at that NEO. And we talked about some of these levels. I think this could be also a good short through 56. So if we get to that throughout the day today, we'll just be very, very careful, guys. I think a NEO short through 56 is something that we should all try to look at and hit that trade. Even if you're not with us today after the show, but watch out for that 56 break. I'll be hitting that hopefully and making a little bit of cash flow back into the pockets on that one. And look, I think watches are good investment. Brendan, I didn't know you had that watch.
I know. That's
good job on that one. And I'll just check out mine. It's good to see it's already in the money. I'm not really looking at it as an investment. Just wanted to treat myself to something nice. So there we go. And that's that stock, and that's that talk. I did want to look at Palantir. Palantir's falling back a little bit, man. We already touched highs today of that $28. I had an order to go long through 28 there, but look what's happened since then. It touches 28 and then just falls off. We got out a little early on that. We weren't able to capitalize on these longs completely there. We had 3 longs, all big money. Palantir, my #1 stock today. Part of the reason was this early little barrage of trading here that we've done. A great pickup off the open. We let it fall down similar to NEO. This is like a patented play that I try to make on some of these calls, and then it breaks that bottom. And I'm a little bit embarrassed there. Again, we were doing the show. We were talking with Kevin, but this break there was a great one. If you ever see Palantir, it can start to get range bound in the afternoon. Sometimes it'll go the other way, it'll take off some of these percentage points. So, but remember, ARK Investments, Kathy Woods yesterday stepped in there with a 500 million share buy there, which is expensive. 500,000 share buy, 12 million, I think, invested into Palantir yesterday. So yeah, a big buy for them. Obviously, it's probably a starter position. I think there's a lot of people thinking that it's going to get even spicier after that. So watch out for Palantir. I still like it. And I know Manny, I made the call early about 8:45 to talk about options, and then Manny super chatted us $20, made that $2,000 off that. So that's a good pull for you there, Manny. And I'm glad that you made that on the option front. If you're just joining us for the first time, though, Neil and I trading straight equities. So we don't make those trades on options right now. It's just equities. It's not CFDs. It's nothing like that. We trade the pure good stuff on this show.
The good stuff. Well, that could be something else.
The good stuff.
That could be something else, right, Sean? But I just talked about what I was watching on level 2 here, and you're going to see I did get some out at 11 when exactly what I thought might happen would. We broke that 10 and just that little market buyer, then participated again, took it all the way up to 18. I thought that was going to get a push maybe back into that 20 to 25, and that's why I wanted to trim some of the position and maybe to go back into it. It came back down, but again, it held this 407 to 410 area, so I take even more shares off. This is all enough reason that I'm going to go ahead and not reload this. If it goes back up to the high of the day, I'll just get out and look for a long break. So it's binary at this point. You know, it might go sideways and consolidate. I will not be adding on that consolidation based on what we just observed on the observed on OBSV, on level 2 there. I do want to come back very quickly. I know we're going to have our other guests soon. Maybe I took it off too early, but either way, we'll see if that's true about Petco. That 27 level, I think this is going to be worth the defense again if it does slam back down here. So I'm prepared to maybe take this trade maybe a couple times. The only difference would be, now last time got in at the 30s and I sort of went to the, there's no really high time frame because it's just yesterday. Went to this bottom in the afternoon, it was 27.30, and that's where I picked for an entry. This time I'll actually wait for 27 even. I almost want to get this at like 27.10 or 27.05 if it comes back down. I want that actual low. Worth noting, on the pullback right after the open on day 1 of Petco, it did break 27, ticked down 20 pennies, and came right back. So if that trade is stopped out, I wouldn't necessarily run away from that same idea if it happened a second time, where it breaks, people get flushed out, there's no offer below that 27, and you just get long right back again above 27 even. I think Brendan is ready. We have go to the desk with Brendan.
I see everyone in the chat. CCIV guys halted here, this Churchill Capital. The SPAC from earlier in the week, another EV space participant. Just a heads up, this is an additional information halt. So it went from 18 to 20 and a half there for CCIV, guys.
I see some people are talking of a possible deal. Either way, like again, I'm not gonna speculate when I don't know what the news is. But additional information that does mean if you are trading this and you're in it right now, we do not know when it's going to open up. Like there's no guarantees, but you should probably be watching. It just if you look at the move that it made going into yesterday, that 2013 top looks very interesting if it opens back up in a timely fashion. Brennan?
Yeah, just remember, guys, this is the Lucid Motors. So they never confirmed that they were doing a deal with Lucid Motors. There was just talk around the fact that this could be possible. So probably what this is, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just said under my breath, probably they are, but it's unfair to say that, but probably they are. I'll be looking for that.
I only said in case it's the other way. That's all. I mean, if they're just going to confirm that it was a good to go on Lucid Motors, then yeah, that's CCIV, .ny there. Yeah, so that's what it looks like, a halted security on our system. Looks like this, all grayed out. I don't know, Neil, if you want to show. Did we already show the NASDAQ halt? Why don't you call that up?
Yeah, I always have this one up, and you got to have it close here, guys. But you always want to make sure you check if you use this site, you always want to make sure you check the codes here in Churchill Capital. You'll see a couple of, I don't know why there's two, but either way, it just had that halt. I'm now kind of curious what CRNT is that we haven't been looking at any point today. But yeah, it's a good resource to have, especially if you're trading some of these higher flyer names, or the ones that are going to have these parabolic moves, and then halt on. You want to make sure you know if it's going to be.
But that M code is what? It's not limit up, limit down. Obviously,
this is a volatility halt.
Yeah, so that's strange.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Observe just went to the upside and just broke. So I just went from a short into a long. You know what? I'll get that level 2 up for you guys, but it looks like it's still above that 425 area on observe, at least for now. So it looks like it's at least a little bit strong on that break. It's one of the reasons why I wouldn't load back into the short, but I could change my mind rather quickly if we can get below that $4 range at some point. For now, we've got into the long off the top break of the day in OBSV.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring that M up there was, of course, I heard Brendan say additional information, but I was just surprised that it would say volatility. I mean, normally there it would say additional information request, I guess, but that's okay. That's a great website there, and thanks, Brendan. Again, that's the whole point, right? Now we know what's coming out, and just stay tuned if you're into this one. What a good move up, man! $20.68 the last prints there. So congratulations to anybody that was long this one, man. You could have got long $16, $17. I know Brendan and I are involved in some SPACs here. Why won't that happen to any of mine? Like, come on, PaySafe. Let's start halting here. This is BFT, of course. We talk about this all the time. still on the CCV. I wish that was BFT up 19%, but we're down today. I've been buying some more of this one, the fintech space, and we had Kevin O'Leary on. That's great. He did talk about Coinbase. I love the fintech spot. We've talked about that a lot on the show with PayPal and with Square. There's lots and lots of opportunity in this space. BFT is just another one. And then back over to another kind of fintechy name, I guess, with Affirm, right? Affirm yesterday or 3 days ago IPO'd there at 90. The charts are struggling here today. Go upside to 90, tops out at 135. And now look at this, man. Affirm right here, building some bases. So if there's anything interesting happening, we'll get back to you. But I do like an Affirm bottom right here. If we break back down below 105, look out. You could even go back and test somewhere near that IPO price. Not maybe 90 exactly, but a 97 or 98 on Affirm, because right now we're just bouncing around here. 113, 114. I'd love this break if we can get it. 114 on Affirm. It's not too far away, but look at the spread. 70 cents, right? And so you got to be very, very careful when you're looking at stocks that have a spread like that. It can get very, very dangerous, especially if you miss your price, right? And so we talk about slippage. If you ever hear Neil or I talk about slippage, this is what we mean. Watch out for your quote. If you're going to take a 100 break, you may need to put the price at 150 cents just so you make sure that you get out. Slippage, very, very important. Something that Neil and I take very seriously. We like to use dark pool sometime, Prince, to get out of our trade, because a lot of the time there'll be action inside the bid and ask on dark pools. That's what happens. But right now, Affirm's going to go. We are going to keep our eye on CCIV. When that does open up, we'll be yelling and screaming, I'm sure, and we'll get back to you with that move. Wow, Plug Power now goes SSR. If you want to know what SSR means, short sale restricted. Plug Power, again, there it goes. Look at that. 10% got you. 10% down now. SSR. I think it did drop 10%, obviously down there. But Plug Power SSR today. Watch out for a 60-50 level. Interesting to see how many shorts there are on this name as well. But Plug Power's been on such a huge run. A lot of these names giving back today. Neo, Plug Power, probably Blink as well.
Yeah, Lemonade as well. We're going to go to Brennan in just a second. It sends back to VWAP here at 180. That was the price we liked before. I'm just going to get into this position in a split second once we get to fill. I just got it there, so I just want to let you guys know. That's literally the only price. I've not shorted the stock above that price. Every time it goes there, I've had shorts 3 times at 180. So, of course, we'll see if it's real or not. But the second I get in, this was not here before. This 300,000 share seller at $1.79 that showed up right after I got the fill at 80 and it went downside. So I don't know if it's going to be real order. I've been faked out by these earlier on today. We'll see if it's real. Brennan, what's up?
All right, guys, very happy to have Michael Auerbach back with us, chairman of Subversive Capital and the parent company. And I want to jump right into things here. Here we go, guys. Graham.U. Day number 1 on the Neo exchange here in Toronto. Very excited, as I mentioned, to have Michael Auerbach back with us, joining us to discuss both Subversive and the parent company, again, in the cannabis space. Yeah, we can bring him on, guys, anytime. We'll bring on Michael and have a little discussion here. Congratulations in order. First off, Michael, on a successful debut today for Graham and first day of trading in Toronto. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Really happy to be back on the show, and couldn't be a better day. Just super excited about the future for the parent company, and we took us 18 months to get here, 1 day shy of our expiration, and we are live, and it was just by all intents and purposes a massive success.
Let's rewind the tape a little bit and discuss how we got to today. For anyone who missed maybe when you were on last week, let's go back and talk a little bit about both the parent company and Subversive, how you got to where we are today. Obviously, the focus was always in California. Tell us about the two companies that we brought together here to form the parent company.
Sure. When my partner and I raised the $575 million last summer, we were on the hunt for one or more U.S. cannabis assets with a focus on California. And we identified 2 of the leading operators in California, the most important state in the U.S. for cannabis, and the most important cannabis economy in the world, from both a brand perspective and just a cultural influence perspective. And so with bringing together Caliva and Left Coast Ventures, we've created the largest vertically integrated omni-channel platform in the state, and we couldn't be happier.
And this covers everything from manufacturing, growing manufacturing, right through to distribution to the retail customer. We'll talk about that in a second here, but I want to bring in Jay-Z into the conversation here, a part of the parent company. Tell us how that came to be.
Sure. So originally, Caliva had a joint venture with Jay-Z to launch this brand Monogram, which they launched a few weeks ago to great fanfare in California. I think the most successful sort of high-end premium product launch in cannabis. And so we approached Jay when we were negotiating with Caliva to see if he would be willing to sell the other 50% of his joint venture to us in return for him coming on board as our chief visionary officer, so that we can begin to build a house of brands under Jay, sort of an extension of Monogram, as well as signing an exclusive agreement with Rock Nation, his entertainment powerhouse, to give us exclusive access to his artists and athletes to launch additional brands this year.
Now let's talk about the process a little bit here, going from the growing side of things right through to the distribution to getting the product into consumers' hands. The process start to finish is covered with both of these companies coming together. Walk us through how this is going to work.
So in terms of the combined company, we are completely vertically integrated from seed to sale. So we have cultivation assets as part of both Left Coast and Caliva. We've got manufacturing and distribution, distribution direct to retail, and Caliva has a very robust delivery platform on the Caliva.com website. And so integrating all of these, as well as Left Coast Ventures has Sisu, which is the largest extract provider in the state in terms of distillate. And so we'll be inserting, all that low cost product into our own brands. Capturing that margin and making us, the most successful, company and ability to compete on price with the illicit market in the state.
Now, you mentioned California was always the focus and will be the primary focus going forward as we begin as the parent company. However, big changes on the political front coming in the U.S. as of next week, as everyone is well aware at this point. What does it mean to have this shift as far as policy is concerned for a company like the parent company?
So it's fantastic. Obviously it's fantastic not just for cannabis and the parent company, but also fantastic for the United States and for the world, what's going to happen next week. So the Democrats were able to hold the Senate with the Georgia runoff. And what that means for cannabis is that we'll have an acceleration of the end of prohibition. We always anticipated that prohibition would end within the first 12 to 24 months of the inauguration. I still think that from a legislative perspective, that's probably the timeline. We'll get something slightly more progressive than the states in the SAFE Act, and maybe not as progressive as the MORE Act, but we'll definitely get some of the more social justice elements that were written in the MORE Act. That was co-sponsored by the Vice President Kamala Harris. But we're hoping to get some guidance and expecting some guidance from the Merrick Garland Justice Department. Not dissimilar to the Cole memo, which will allow the states and the U.S. listing agencies to get comfortable with beginning to list U.S. cannabis companies.
And we'll talk about that in a second here. I want to make sure we discuss the possibility of further listings coming in the U.S. But let's talk about the potential for further expansion for the company, for further marketplaces to come into play a little bit. As we discuss California, first off, going to be the primary focus, but where do we see the next steps coming for the parent company?
Sure. So, we're going to concentrate on consolidating and dominating the California market with $381 million left in trust. We have the strongest balance sheet in cannabis in the U.S. And certainly the strongest balance sheet in California with no debt, completely debt free. And so we're going to concentrate on California. There's lots of things that we want to do there from an M&A perspective. In terms of market expansion, we'll approach this from an asset light perspective in terms of getting our brands into people's hands in other states. And really the only state that, would be attractive to us to have maybe some duplicative assets in would be the state of New York as they go adult use.
And is there a timeline on that, Michael, as far as when investors could be looking at something like that?
So I do think that that the governor was serious. Governor Cuomo was serious when he tweeted out last week that he intends to push for adult use legislation this calendar year. You know, being from New York and living in New York, sometimes the regulator takes a little bit longer to catch up with the governor. But we're hoping that maybe in Q4 or Q1 of next year, there'll be an adult use regime here in New York, and the parent company and its brands, particularly the brands that Jay and his and the other artists at Rock Nation develop over the next year, will be available for New York consumers.
So there we go. We just saw the ticker one more time there, Gram.U, day number 1 on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. Let's talk about the possibility of further listings in the U.S. The company's listed on NEO, as we said, but as far as possibility of maybe going to the NASDAQ or even the NYSE, how is that progressing?
Yeah, I mean, we're in communication, constant communication with both the NYSE and the NASDAQ on uplisting to a U.S. exchange when permissible. We feel comfortable and confident that being a NEO-listed stock, so being on a senior exchange in Canada, is certainly the preferred route for U.S. cannabis that's U.S. cannabis companies listed in Canada have, as well as we'll begin to also be an SEC filer as well when we start to file in the coming months. You know, the various regulatory approvals, and so we anticipate with guidance from the Justice Department that we will be, you know, maybe the first, if not the first, certainly, you know, the first handful of companies that will list on a U.S. exchange, and we believe this will happen in 2021.
Very good. It's always important to have those, you know, landmark dates when it comes to an investor's point of view. What's the next thing on the horizon for the parent company that investors should be excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most exciting part about the parent company is that, you know, we're trading. Today is the first day that we're trading as a company. You know, we've successfully de-SPAC'd. You know, just out of the gate, you know, we had a great, you know, 2020 as a combined company. We've, you know, projected a very successful organic run rate for 2021. You know, given our war chest and, you know, the health of our balance sheet, you know, the investors should start to concentrate on what we plan to do in terms of M&A activity for this year.
Michael Auerbach, Chairman, Subversive Capital and the parent company. Congratulations once again. Gram.U, guys, if you're interested, head over to the NEO exchange here in Toronto and check out Gram.U. Michael, a pleasure as always. I hope you come back and give us an update soon.
You got it. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You as well. There we go, guys. A look at the parent company, an exciting new venture, to say the least. Sean, you're interested already.
Yeah, I'm interested already. And am I allowed to say that I bought some shares? So if I'm not, I didn't buy, and if I am, I did. But no, look, I love the cannabis space there, and just, you know, there's lots of stuff happening. And we talked about Cureleaf there. Someone brought that to our attention as well. Trulieve is one that I've been invested in as well on the Canadian side of things. And I like the distribution cycles. I like everything that's happening right now in cannabis space. And again, I've talked about taking some off. And this is a great example. I was looking at my Trulieve position actually while we were just doing that a spot there on the show, and like, this is what I'm talking about. We put buys in cannabis. I think it's very, very topical, right? You got to put buys on certain spots, and then all the way back up. And right now, as our guest mentioned there, Brendan, I think it's in everybody's mind. So I like Gram.
Okay, guys. Yeah, a couple of minutes to go here. For everyone wondering, again, Monday holiday. We will be back on Tuesday. So everything you're about to see is Tuesday morning as far as earnings are concerned, guys. Couple big names up here on this board.
Yeah, and we're going to get the rest of the banks next week. You see Schwab, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. We talked about State Street as well. I just noticed Halliburton. We talked about Morgan Stanley coming through on Wednesday. That's also before the market. Just before we round this off, CCIV came back hard when it reopened. It did fail off of 21 there. So we had pointed out that level, we had pointed out those levels before. If it took a shot, sorry, not 21, 2020, and then it broke through that, got through 21, now below that $20 mark, I should say. So it's looking a little bit weak here on CCIV off that news, sell the news, but it is consolidating off of 19. So there was a lot of price action and crazy volume on this name. Brendan getting the news to you guys. In the nick of time. It is always some kind of interesting national day. We need to get to Miss V to round out what has been a special day for us. A lot of fun all day long. Let's see if we can add to it right here with Miss V.
Thank you, Neil. And hey, guys, thank you very much for spending this trading week with us. I wish you a great rest of the day, wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And happy National Bagel Day, everyone.
Yeah, why not? We get like a pastry dish every single morning. It's like there's always a bagel there. I don't know. To me, they're a little bit boring, but some peanut butter on there, and I'll be good to go.
Man,
I think they're boring.
Really?
It's about the topping. They're a vehicle for a topping.
Yes, they are. That's true.
Right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the bagel with cream cheese. I prefer an everything bagel. I don't know. My kids like those as well. The cinnamon one's good too with butter,
Yes.
cinnamon raisin, but everything bagels, don't eat too many of them. They are a tasty treat, like Neil mentioned. It's been a big show, unfortunately. We're not here on Monday, but we are back on Tuesday. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody there on Monday.
Oh,
I hope
you're
you
so
enjoyed the show. It's been a good one. And yeah, the watches reign supreme on this show. Kevin O'Leary, always impressive. Thanks for coming on, our good friend.
Yeah, I've been holding off on saying, look, obviously MLK Day, and I wanted to say, of course, a happy birthday and happy Martin Luther King Day. But it's not the only birthday we want to celebrate around here. They work tirelessly. You don't always see them on the show. Every now and then, we do let you guys know that we have both our good friends. Let's put you guys in the spot, Rob and Lucas, but over there on our board, Rob will be celebrating his 13th birthday next week, and I say that because everyone here knows that he is certainly young at heart. So they work very hard. They do a fantastic job making us all look good, and so you guys can enjoy the show here. Happy birthday, Rob. For the entire team, for Miss V, for my man Katina in the Rolex, for Brennan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye, guys.